me.
Oh, back canocre. Susu sang pine, dear one ton and be a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you basically see about Kotoso. Pepoga, send me sicker from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shit and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Extinguishing in Suya. Unbeatable. We should be promo code Dr. Like £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. What is send this guy download to Lemonade Finance.
Honorable members, order. Let's have a New Times Corporation and Graphic Communication Groups Limited.
I swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give before this committee touching the matter in issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you very much for coming. Kindly introduce yourselves with the committee. We are starting with the New Times Corporation.
Honorable Chairman, my name is Martin Eduosu, MD, New Times Corporation.
Honorable Chair, my name is Eric Nkum Entry, Acting Chief Accountant.
Honorable Chair, my name is Mamle Andrews, Chief Director.
Chair, my name is Kojo Oponkroma, Minister.
Honorable Chairman, my name is Atuafo, Managing Director, Graphic Communications Group Limited.
Honorable Chairman, my name is Samuel Essel, Director of Finance and Administration, Graphic Communications Group.
Honorable Chairman, my name is Richard Owusu-Efri, Director Audit, Graphic Communication Group Limited.
Thank you very much. So we'll go straight to paragraph 2308, which is on the operational result of the New Times Corporation. Now, New Times Corporation, you keep making losses, and your loss after tax is actually has increased. Your loss has dropped from 911,115 Ghana cedis in 2018 to 719,384. It dropped by 21%, but you still make loss. I realize that your revenue dropped by 4.8%, and your expenditure increased by 6.2%. But that has actually resulted in the drop in the loss. What is the situation now like in 2022? Is the trend the same, or we have now turned to positive?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Yes, in 2019, we made a loss, but it was, as you said, it was an improvement over that of 2018. In 2020, we made a marginal profit of 77,000. In 2021 also, there was an improvement. That was also a profit of 186,566. But unfortunately, in 2022, because of the exchange rate situation, unfortunately, all our raw materials are imported. And for that matter, the dollarization actually has affected us. So we went back to the losses again in 2022. That is where we are, Mr. Chairman.
Do you need some support going into the future? Or you can turn around the fortunes of the company?
Honorable Chairman, we have asked for support for over 30 years, and we have never received the support. Now we have taken our destiny into our own hands, and we are trying to do the best that we can to revive New Times Corporation. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, for over 30 years, they have not been supported. So the company is still not that strong. Is the ministry considering retooling the company so that at least they can turn around their fortunes? Or will leave them to survive on their own?
Chairman, what he did not mention to you is that over a year ago, we asked the company to submit a plan to us so that we could support them. We have taken that plan upstairs, and there are a number of options on how to get them support to be a well-functioning, profitable entity for the Republic. So it's something we are working on currently.
Which means that there is some action, some plan in motion to support them.
Yes, and a number of options are being considered on how to get them that support.
Okay, that's good. All right, so let's move to the management issues. And the Honorable Dakwa will take paragraph 2317.
Thank you, Chairman. So the issue has to do with the failure to invest Provident Fund contributions to a tune of over 1 million Ghana cedis. The Auditor General noted that management over the years had not been remitting both its own 5% contributions and the employees' 5% deductions from staff salary to the fund manager. And this resulted in an outstanding balance of 1,018,311 Ghana cedis owed the fund by both the corporation and the staff. Okay. The auditor goes on further to say that this lapse was caused by management's lack of will to set up an independent board of trustees to ensure that the fund is properly managed. In addition, this failure had caused management to charge the final Provident Fund benefits due to separated employees against the corporation's current year cash flows. Okay. In addition to this, they also note that staff unrest, which could affect the corporation's operations, may arise out of this situation. Okay. Management has also been urged to draw up a plan to transfer the arrears and strictly remit the monthly deductions without delay in order to prevent charging the matured Provident Fund benefits against the corporation's cash inflows. Can you please tell us if the plan has been drawn?
Honorable Chair, well, the plan is not strictly a plan, but what we have done is that, maybe if I want to take you through the current situation, is that we want to say that the amount of 1 million and over that you mentioned is a legacy debt that I can speak to, which accrued between 2012 and 2019. And out of this, out of which 101,000 has been paid, leaving a balance of 916,969.19. What management has done is that we have engaged Glyco Pensions to manage the Provident Fund, and so far an amount of 308,101.44 has been transferred to the fund account on behalf of staff. But an amount of 256,000 relating to contributions between 2020 and 2021 was invested in treasury bills, Honorable Chair, in the absence of a fund manager due to the insolvency of Goko's Security. An amount of 51,590 was the total interest accrued to staff in respect of the treasury bill, and management is making the effort to ensure that monthly payments are made and also negotiate. But this is where we are. We want to negotiate with Glyco because we just entered into agreement with them just last year, negotiate with them to pay the arrears. So that is where we are, Honorable Chair.
All right. Okay, auditors, can you confirm all the figures that he gave us that have been?
Honorable Chair, in terms of the amount stated in the report, we can confirm that they've transferred 409,726.64 into the fund. That's all the information that we have. Thank you.
Okay, so auditors, is there a discrepancy between what he outlined? Because he talked about 308, he talked about 400. So what is the discrepancy? Can you just give that to us?
Honorable Chair, it seems he was also talking about 2020 deductions and all that. But in terms of the amount that was stated, the arrears that was not paid within the period, the amount stated, that I stated, 409,726 had been paid out of it, leaving a balance of 608,584.75. Thank you.
All right, so leaving a balance of 608, right? So what efforts, you talked about making some efforts to ensure that the outstanding amount is paid. And so what efforts are you making to ensure that this remaining balance is also paid?
Honorable Chair, as I said, we just engaged Glyco just last year, later part of last year. So we are now into a negotiation with them so that we can make the payments. Yes.
All right, then. In that case, since you've already made the efforts to make those payments. I'll leave it there. Chairman, please, that's all for me.
Thank you very much, Honorable. The next infraction is on paragraph 2325. And Honorable Yusuf.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, the infraction relates to some payments made that were not adequately supported. And we're talking about some 16 PPs raised to pay an amount of 289,683.56 Ghana cedi. So the auditors said that you had very weak internal control systems as one of the reasons why these are normally occurred. And they also said that your internal audit is not well resourced. May I know whether you have now resourced your internal audit department?
Yes, Honorable Chair, we have. And now things are better than the previous.
So you now have strong internal control systems in place?
Yes, we do, Honorable Chair.
And have you supported these payment vouchers with the necessary documentation?
Yes, we have, Honorable Chair.
Auditors, can you confirm this?
Honorable Chair, yes, the documents were provided, we inspected and verified them. Thank you.
Sorry.
Chairman, thank you. And I just want to commend the minister and to encourage him to help that organization. I have somebody working there and I have some interest in following what is going on there. And I think that if you help them, it will help all of us. He was in Tamale, he's now been transferred to Accra here. They are all trying to work hard to ensure that the company stands on its feet, but they will need some support. And I'm happy that you want to take it up. We need to commend you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. The next infraction is on paragraph 2333. And Honorable Mutala, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The infraction is unfunded end of service benefits scheme. And the auditor's observation is that you could not set up any fund for such purposes. Instead, you were paying, or you have been paying, people those benefits from your operational monies meant for operations. Why have you been engaged in that?
Honorable Chair, I don't know whether I can say this is also part of the legacy issues. But as at now, we are trying to scrap the ESB entirely because we realize that it is not something that is sustainable. So that is where we are now. We are negotiating with the unions. It is a unionized item that was put in the CB. So now we have decided that we want to scrap it entirely because it's not sustainable.
Well, the auditor's recommendation is they've given you two recommendations. Either you renegotiate to see how best you can continue with it, or you scrap it. And my view is that, don't you think that scrapping it would also dampen the spirit of workers, because these are parts of motivations, if you like.
Honorable Chair, you are right, but I think under the circumstance, it is better to scrap it so that we can, concentrate on the Provident Fund rather than the ESB.
Have you started the negotiations with the unions?
Yes, we have.
How soon do you think you can come to conclusion on that?
We hope to end it by this year.
By this year?
Yes, we hope to end it by this year.
Mr. Chairman, I'm done.
Honorable Sam George, paragraph 2342.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, may you live long. Chairman, we have heard the complaints and the groanings and moanings of New Times Corporation about their financial situation. Yet you have money sitting with people and you have failed to go and collect it, Chairman. Chairman, if you look at the long list that has been provided, I can't list all of them, but some of the names I see here, I wonder why they should owe New Times Corporation. It means New Times Corp because those people can pay. ADB, for example, is a bank. ADB should not be owing you for newspapers. American Towers Ghana, me, I know them, they are telecoms infrastructure company. They shouldn't be owing for newspapers. Even Zoom Lion is owing. So it means you have not been chasing the money. Why have you not chased the money that people owe you?
Honorable Chair, this information was for 2019. As I'm speaking now, the list that we have here, some of them have paid, yet others haven't paid. I agree to that. And we have made several efforts, including the minister himself, writing to the debtors to do the needful. Currently, what we have done since last year was to serve notices in our newspapers so that those who owe us will come and pay. So the deadline was yesterday, which was 1st February. In fact, as at yesterday, I have started receiving letters from the debtors coming to arrange for payments. In fact, from this stage, we'll move a step further by taking legal actions against them, because I think we have done all that we can, all that we could, but the situation is not improving. So that is where we are, Honorable Chair.
It's interesting that even the Ghana News Agency owes you for newspapers, and you are all under the same ministry, So, but when you say some have paid, the list here explains to you, and to all those who are owing the New Times Corporation, we are using this opportunity to ask you to emulate Parliament of Ghana. Parliament of Ghana doesn't owe. We've paid. So even though our money seldom comes, we've paid. So they should also behave like Parliament of Ghana and pay New Times Corporation so that they can retool. I'm talking of New Times Corporation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I'm grateful.
But I beg you, one last point has to do with your management response. Your management response appears to look as though you think it is normal. Because what is captured in paragraph 2351, you seem to be making an argument that you can't stop giving the people who owe you newspapers. Because if you go to enforce collection, then the people will also stop taking your newspapers. So you want to continue the creation of legacy debt. Because that argument is to say that I can't stop giving the person even though the person is selling my newspaper or using my newspaper. Because this is both for vendors and subscribers. So you have vendors who are owing you. The vendors, you give them your newspaper to sell. They have sold the newspaper and collected the money, and they've not given you back your money. And you say if you go and chase them for your money, they will stop collecting the new ones to sell. So it means every time, if I'm a vendor, I know that even if I chop your money, because you are afraid that I won't sell your newspaper again, you won't bring it. So find a way around it.
Thank you very much.
Your problems that you are creating is creating sleepless nights for your minister. As a young man, see the way he's growing grey. Now he's challenging the chairman of the committee with grey beard. Stop creating sleepless nights for him. Do your job well. Chairman, arrest.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That will be all for New Times Corporation. Let's now go to Graphic Communication Group Limited. And paragraph 2352 is where your operational results start from. You've also made move from a profit of 4.8 million in 2017 to a loss of 75,000. I realize that your total income dropped by 11.7%, and your total expenditure dropped by 1.1%. So your profit before tax dropped by almost 100%, from 8.8 million to 79,000. Then your tax expense and other incomes came in. But what I don't understand is your other comprehensive income. It's a negative 567,000. What is that? Accountants.
Honorable Chair, the other comprehensive income were made up of two one-off incomes that we had. About 60% of that had to do with a printing job that we had with the Ministry of Education, which was purely a one-off thing. These things don't happen every time. And so in that year, we had an opportunity of doing that job. The other one also had to do with an investment that we had, where we had some investment income. So there was an accumulated investment income that we had. Beyond that year, that investment was used to settle staff end of service benefits. So the investment was not there again to give us that income. If we isolate those two, we come virtually to almost about the same level of the other income that we had in the next year. The other incomes, I mean, if we take these two out, the major component of the other income has to do with ancillary income like sale of scrap, sale of unsold papers, events that we do, and some one-off activities, which by and large falls within a certain fair range year on year. Thank you.
Auditors, let's look at the page 511. I want to understand this statement well. If you look at from 510, if you look at the income statement, up to where you have profit before tax on page 511. Have you seen it? The profit before tax for the year 2018 was 79,532 Ghana cedis. This is because the total income was 72,094,000 Ghana cedis minus total expenditure of 72,015,000 Ghana cedis. So that gives you 79,000 profits before tax. Then you talk about taxation expense, the tax expense of 411. Now, a tax is a deductible expense. So if you have 79,000 profits, and you have a tax expense of 411, the profit for the year after tax should be a negative figure. In fact, the tax expense figure there should be negative. Why is it positive? Because if you see the corresponding figure for 2017, is 4.7 million negative. It's deductible. But for 2018, it's positive. There must be a reason for that.
Honorable Chair, I think it might be a mistake because it might be a different item altogether, because adding the 411 to 754 to 79,000. That made up of the profit of the 491.
Yes.
So I think that it might be a different item altogether, but not a taxation in relation to the 2017.
So that might be an item which is not a deductible, but rather to add to the profits. To give you the profit for the year to read the 419. 491, sorry. Then the other transaction, which is the other income, comprehensive income, is also in negative. Why should it be negative? Should rather be positive. Why is it negative? It's other comprehensive income. It's rather negative. The whole statement has a problem.
Honorable Chair, in fact, we have to go back and look at it very well.
Yes,
And
please go back and look at it. All right, let's move on to paragraph 2362. Deputy Ranking.
All right. Thank you very much, Chairman. It has to do with delays in payment of your Tier 2 pension contributions. Are you paying it promptly now? I mean, are you paying it on time?
Honorable Chair, we are paying, but we still have issues with the timing of it. Part of it predominantly has to do with the time that we pay salaries. We do have cash flow issues, and so time and again we pay salaries very late. Sometimes it even goes into the early part of the next month. So that then adds on to that. But we are taking steps. I mean, there are lots of efforts that we are making now to improve our cash flows. And so we will expect an improvement in there. I also wish to add that the gaps that we have reduced. So there are delays, but there are improvements because the gap of the delays are reducing, and we believe that we will be able to get out of this situation in no time.
But are the challenges in your cash flow affecting your payment of salaries at your end? Are they affecting?
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you need to also write to the bodies involved so that they understand, because you are mandated by law to do that within 14 days. And your failure means that you've breached the law. So if you have challenges, write to them so that they appreciate your concerns. Other than that, they keep flagging you and or the test report. But auditors, can you confirm the challenges that the director talks about?
Honorable Chair, yes, it's true. Thank you.
So like I mentioned, please do that.
Paragraph 2368, Vice Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And graphic, we are talking about overdue receivables up to the tune of 24 million Ghana cedis. When it comes to the adverts, it's 14.6 million. And then the newspapers, it's 9.8 million. And if you look at paragraph 2372, it's a management response. The ministries, departments, and agencies contribute significantly to the debt of Daily Graphic. The MDAs contribute about 60% of the newspaper receivables and also owe the company for adverts placed. What is the status of this?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. That issue is a certain revolving concern of ours. Over the period under review, you would look at 2019 to about 2022, we had a certain receivable position of approximately 28,708,000 on the back end of a certain total sales for the period of 205,178,000. And the total collections for the period was 207,117,000 cedis. This brings our current receivable position as at the close of 2022 at 26,769,000. Now, that issue has a certain effort underway. We've gone through a certain process of data verification and certification of those debts, some of which are coming back from as far back as 2004 all the way. And the board mandated us to go through a certain thorough exercise at the end of last year to review that debt. We've done extensive work written to a list of our clientele base who are in the thousands. And as at today, or as at the close of month end January, our advert position had a certain receivable position of about 4 million cedis. We are doing significant work on the subscriber numbers as well, and I'm sure by the end of March we'll be in a better position on that, because that database is huge and it involves individuals spread over a significant database. Having said that, the MMDAs owe us a significant amount of money as at the close of the period of around 14 million cedis. We had taken an initiative on the back end of a directive from the board to write to the Minister of Finance to enable us come to a certain appreciable level on this concern, because it's not eroding that quickly. And I hope that once we've been following through, I hope that by the end of March, we'll get a better hang on that matter. We're working through SIGA and also the Ministry of Information to get a certain clarity on that status of play. Thank you, Chairman.
Your receivables now, are the receivables now better than what they were in 2020?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. That position is much better because out of the effort in reviewing our business, we had to tighten our credit policy and other systems at the back end of our business, including reinforcing our finance directorate. So we have a new finance director who's joined us for about what? 2 years. About 2 years now. We have a new director of audit also who has come along. And the two plus their team members are doing a significant job for us. At this stage, we are able to report clearly in terms of where our revenue buckets are and what it is that our receivable positions are on a day-to-day basis and on a month-to-month basis as we close. But I think that one of the pleas I would make is this. At the MMDA levels, the debts are not moving that much. And whenever you make a big push to recover, and these debts, ordinarily if they were paying on a quarterly basis, even based on how they get subventions or whatever support they receive, it will be minimal. But they accrue over 5 years, over 6 years, over 8 years, and over 10 years. You chase them for it, the next reaction you get is, we cancel subscription. Now these same ministries, departments, agencies, and others are coming to us for the mandate that we carry, that we have to promote the work of government, of parliament, of all of us, and that is not helping us. I mean, even last December, I think in the second week of December, I had to come and have a meeting with the Right Honorable Speaker to discuss Parliament's position with us. And we came to a certain understanding based on what it is that we know and appreciate all of us are dealing with. But I think it is helpful that considering the nature of our business, it's a pennies and cents, cedis and pesos. The margins are minuscule. All my production inputs, paper has gone up, has actually tripled over the last 18 months or so. And it's all dollar index. The press that I run is a German press that is aged reasonably considerably, but it's still good if you're able to maintain it. I buy parts in euros to maintain it. I've been printing for New Times, for example, over the last 2 years. They didn't mention that in their submission. I've kept them alive. So it is useful that we enable this body to survive. And we played Big Brother, we've done well, we keep trying. I mean, even today, in my printing business, the work we did for the GES partners in the textbook project that was fast rushed through the system between June to August, which we delivered even ahead of schedule. I believe the honorable members, some of them visitors, that we delivered 100%. We haven't even been paid a cedi.
Sorry, Chairman, is he saying that government is owing you for that swift intervention you did?
It is the contractors who represent
But have the contractors been paid by government to pay you?
Honorable Chairman, I may not be in a position to speak to that, but we are following up on those debts as part of our effort. So these are concerns of ours that I think this honorable House and body should be able to help us. Our minister is doing us a lot of service. Thank you very much.
Let me ask you something. If you travel to some of the, let's say, the Western countries, if you want to find out, okay, Ghana, my problem, listening to any radio station, is they will tell you, oh, listen to Parliament FM or Kojo FM. My radio, it doesn't have those things over there. What it has is numbers. So it's very difficult unless you pull out your cell phone. If you go to US, for example, the radio stations are called maybe Kids 105.6 or Fox 98.3. So you know the frequency. If you want to find out radio stations, sometimes the newspapers have the radio stations listed out there. That's the more reason why I used to buy newspapers. But is that something that maybe you would think about, writing it down, maybe this? Maybe I'll buy your newspapers if you had that in your newspaper.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. We would look into that as part of our digital platform.
Digital means I still have to use my cell phone. So you are on the phone with somebody, oh, listen to this person on that radio station. Then I have to, anyway.
Chairman, just to help with, because we're on what he's saying. Choose. I beg you.
Honorable members. Honorable Apak.
Thank you, Chairman. The MD of Graphic Corporation is indeed right. As a member of the Education Committee, I was part of a delegation that went there to inspect the textbooks for basic schools based on the new curriculum that were produced. It's also true that the publishers and printers have complained publicly that government is yet to pay them. And it is because government has not paid them, that is why you have not been paid. So this is the situation. So we call on government to pay the publishers and printers so that they can pay Graphic Corporation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Sam George.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, I think that the point that the Honorable Vice Chairman is making has to do with what we call the radio data system, which, again, may not necessarily be under this ministry, but the Ministry of Communications and the NCA, to ensure that even when you're in your radio in your car, any digital radio station should be able to show the information, not just the number, so that when you don't know what the radio station is, you can get the number. But what he's also saying is, on your news on graphic, the way you have advertorials, on that advertorial page, could you just have a small column that has a list of all the radio stations, especially maybe in Accra and Kumasi, with their frequencies as a public good, so that when he takes your physical paper, he can just refer to it and know which radio channel, which frequency he's tuning into. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. We would consider that.
Well, I'm happy you mentioned that you are going digital. I really don't remember the last time I bought newspapers. I mean, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I look for is my mobile phone. Even if I have to read the Bible, it is the mobile phone. I realize that you've made efforts in going digital, but you would agree that when it comes to newspaper, graphic has the credibility. Why wouldn't you let us subscribe, like how people are doing for Financial Times and all of that? I mean, start, even if it's 50 cedis a year, let people subscribe, because they know that if you want credible news, it is Graphic or Ghanaian Times that you have to go to, so that that would develop into a revenue generation for you, and you will not be here looking at shortfalls and all of that. So please consider that, sir.
Chairman, thank you. Indeed, subscriptions form a part of the revenue bucket, as he mentioned, but it also forms part of the challenges that he's speaking about, that some of the entities, particularly public entities that subscribe, don't pay. I have had calls to assist them actually go to collect outstanding debts, and the recovery rate has not been very exciting because of the obvious challenges that we are talking about. So it's something that they continue to look at, but now the view is that it is better to tone down on the subscription and the cost associated with it than to incur debts which we then have to find ways of paying back.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for information. And we want to thank the Graphic Communication Group Limited and New Times Corporation for coming. You are discharged.
Chairman, thank you.
Now let's have Ministry of Works and Housing.
You see, every
I swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give before this committee touching the matter in issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much for coming, Deputy Minister for Works and Housing, a member of this House. Kindly introduce yourselves to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Abanga Abdullahi, Deputy Minister for Works and Housing.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Reverend Stephen Yawase, Acting Chief Director, Ministry of Works and Housing.
My name is Abdul Momini Yakubu, General Manager, Finance and Administration, TDC.
I'm Samuel Asante, General Manager, Operations, TDC. Thank you, Chairman.
Dr. Richard Eboasanti, Executive Secretary, Public Servant Housing Loan Scheme Board.
Isaac Ajema for MD AESL.
Thank you very much. Let's start with Honorable Aka, paragraph 2409, Tama Development Company Limited, TDC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. A
quick view of your operational results shows that there's a drop in your investment income, a huge drop in the investment income. Other income increased, the revenue also increased, and you made a surplus, which is commendable. Is there any reason why your investment income reduced? It's a huge drop, 70%. Do you have any reason for that?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The cash and bank balances that we have are meant for our projects. So once we embark on the projects, we channel the investments into the production of the houses, plots, and other facilities. So we withdraw and invest in our development projects. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sir, could you move the microphone towards to you because it's very difficult to hear.
Let's go to, are you done?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
All right. What accounted for the rise in your revenue, total revenue? It increased from 69 million to 76 million, which was not bad, 10%, 10.6% change. It means you did something right.
Yeah. Honorable Chair, the source of our revenues are namely rental income, land management fees, property operating incomes, and estate development incomes. In the year 2019, we made 30.078 million against 23.4 million in 2018. So that accounts for the increase in the revenue in the year 2019. That's largely the reason for the increase.
Okay, overall, you had a surplus, so there's not much to talk about. And your financial position also, there was increase in current assets. Current assets increased drastically. That's 27.8. However, the non-current assets reduced. And then your current liability also increased. Could you explain the reason for the increase in your current liability?
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chair. The products that we churn out, we receive deposits. And until we deliver the products, we don't reckon them as revenue. So this accounts largely for the increase in the current liabilities.
Okay, the auditors say that the liquidity position of the entity as measured by current ratio is positive. This implies that the company will be able to meet the short-term debts obligations as and when they fall due. So that's very good on your part. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
So, Honorable Philip Basua, paragraph 24:18.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, the said paragraph has to do with infractions, have to do with plot allocation issues. And there's plots of land allocated to some clients were replaced. However, records show to the contrary that
there were litigations on the plots allocated. I want to know the criteria for replacement of lands and why was it not followed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This particular issue arose as a result of the stool of Ajekojo, the area in question, taking TDC on and claiming ownership of the land, which has no basis at all because all that area is part of the 63 square miles enclave that was vested in TDC under ordinance from 1952. So where people legitimately came to TDC and were allocated those plots, the stool of Ajekojo took TDC on that it's their land, and therefore the legitimate allocatees could not go there and develop their land. And this legal process lasted for over 5 years. During that period, some of them grew impatient because they had bought the land they want to develop, but they had no access. It was because the court, the Ajekojo used to manage to secure an injunction against TDC. So TDC could not continue anything there. So we couldn't go there. They couldn't go there. So we decided that for some of these people who are impatient, we will relocate them. So we decided to give them plots elsewhere. So that's what happened. It's not a case of wrongful allocation. Thank you.
Okay. What is the status of the management's resolution to the issue?
Yes, so the two people involved, where we relocated them, we realized that for one, where the problem arose, his land was intact. So where we proposed to relocate them, we have claimed it back. So he reverted to his original place. And for the second one, we've also managed to regularize the land for her. In the process of regularization, then there is no loss of revenue. You know, illegally, they've taken it illegally. We go in and regularize so that they come and pay the regularization fee back to the company. So both issues have been resolved.
Auditors, I want you to confirm.
Honorable Chair, we have not cited any resolution as at date. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so my auditor here has the necessary evidences of payments and so on that we've taken from those allocatees. So I'm sure you'll make that available to our auditors pretty soon. Thank you.
Why it's been dead till now? And when are you going to do that to the auditors?
Sorry, come again. You mean the evidence? I didn't get the question. Please, can you come again?
I'm talking about the evidence. If it is there, you hand it over to the auditors.
Yes, please. It's available right here to be given. Thank you.
Chairman.
Yeah, so the auditor need to verify the evidence. That's all. Now, Honorable Sam George.
Thank you very much, sir. Chairman, I just wanted to find out from the TDC, your lands you're selling around Community 24, how much are they going for?
Community 24, these are service plots.
Yes, so how much are they, how much is one plot going for, please?
Honorable, it will depend on the size, because they are in various sizes.
What would be the average 70 by 100 price?
70 by 100 should be about 300,000.
300,000
Ghana cedis, yes.
Per plot?
Yes.
Okay. It's interesting that you are quoting your prices here because all your documentation that I have seen quotes them in dollars.
Honorable Chairman, it's not all the documentation per se. What happens is that we have a very large number of non-resident Ghanaians who are in the, the popular places like the London, New York, Amsterdam, and so on. Occasionally, we go for road trips to expose our products to them. They don't appreciate CD values. Some of them have been away for a long time. When you quote CD, they ask you, so what is this equivalent in dollars? So some of those leaflets that we have were printed for them, but not for the Ghanaian public. We never sell in dollars. If you came to our office, we have the price list in CDs.
So your price is CD denominated, and then you do conversion to dollars when you go outside. Are you sure that's the case, or it is dollar denominated, and then you are doing CD conversion at going rate? Because this 300,000 you are quoting for 100 by 70, is that the rate it was selling at about 6 months ago when the dollar was less? So are you saying, because what you're saying would suggest that the price is 300,000 Ghana cedis, and as and when the dollar goes up, the dollar price for people outside the country will drop. Does the dollar price drop, or the dollar price is fixed for those outside, and then the CD fluctuates depending on the exchange rate?
Well, I mean, for those in Ghana, even by law, we are not permitted to sell in dollars, so we don't.
So you are saying that over the past 1 year, the cost of your plots in CDs have remained static and have not changed?
Wow. But Mr. Chairman, it's also the truth that in this industry, and I'm sure most real estate developers will attest to it, that a lot of the inputs, as was the case for the print media, the Graphic and Times who came here, just left, a lot of the inputs are imported. I mean, you see cement, for example. You see cement, those here, clinker is vastly imported. So cement will also be jacking up their prices when you see fluctuation in currency.
Chief, we are talking about lands you are selling, not houses.
Honorable.
And so for the land, please,
yes,
for the land, that's why I asked you. This is a yes or no answer. Because you rightly pointed out that it is illegal against the Bank of Ghana rules to quote in dollars. So if your price is actually in cedis, as you've told us, and remember you're under oath,
yes,
you've told us that your price is in cedis. It means that your price in cedis should have remained fixed. And what will be changing is the dollar or pound price depending on where you are, and you do the exchange rate at the prevailing rate. So has your CD price remained fixed, or that has changed? Because the land there, whether dollar goes up or not, the land, you are not importing anything on the land. We just want clarity on that.
Honorable Chairman, even though it's land, it's not bare land. When you talk about Committee 24, this is serviced land. And service means that you've developed the land with roads, drains, electricity, and water. So you've added extreme value to that land. So it's not just any ordinary land.
Chairman, I think that the point has been made clear. While the director has been unable to state that the CD value has remained the same, Chairman, I rest and leave it for you. We've gotten our answer. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Director, you said that an average 70 by 100 feet plot is about 300,000 Ghana cedis. How long will it take an average Ghanaian worker to raise money to buy one plot of land?
65 years. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we're also going by the normal market segmentation strategy that is done by every business. You know, you have to be seen to be satisfying the various segments of the market. Even though we agree that a large numbers of Ghanaians are within the low income bracket. Yeah, but we have lands in places to meet the needs of such people in that bracket. I mean, these lands, the ones that was just asked about in Ajay Kojo, Pong, and those places, these are bare lands that are not serviced. So the surveyors have mapped them out clearly, and then minimal services have been put in place. And the prices are quite reasonable. I mean, 10,000, 15,000, and so on. But
where can I get 10,000 one? Can I get 10,000 at Ajikojo?
Thereabouts, yes. But the thing is that now it's almost all taken. Because
You have given hope and then you are withdrawing the hope.
It was about the pricing. But availability, we have to see. Chairman, there's always a way. We have to see and look and then search, and perhaps something will pop up. But it's been 70 long years since we started work. It's been 70 long years. So the land is finite, as we say. So as you allocate, the land gets depleted. And that is why we've even got mandate to operate outside Tema, because the land is good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. That'll be all for Tema Development Company. Let's move on to Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme Board. And I look at your operational results on paragraph 23, 72. No, 2376, where your surplus dropped by 70% from 188,000 Ghana cedis to 54,000 Ghana cedis. Because your GOG subvention, even though your GOG subvention increased by 51%, your total income increased by 65%. Your expenditure increased by 144%. So definitely your profit will drop. What is the non-financial assets figure of 490,000 in 2018? What is that? Did you acquire?
I think, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. I think based on the correspondence that we received from
now, me. Obek Kanukre. Susu Sang Pine, be a one ton and be a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you basically see about Kotoso. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shit and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Exchange rate in Suya. Unbeatable. We should make promo code Dr. Like £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. What is send this guy download to Lemonade Finance. Mommy, you basically see Anya Bakotoso, Pepoga, sending me sika from Lemonade Finance, while Brian Tedeshe, and let me £10.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Exchange rate in Suya. Unbeatable. We should be promo code Dr. Like £10, $10, and $10 Canadian dollars for the first transaction. What is send this guy coffee? Download to Lemonade Finance.
And 39.38 Ghana cedis between 2 and 10 years, and you have not started repayment. They are not paying now. What is happening to this infraction?
Thank you very much. I think as at the date of the audit, what was outstanding was 460,489 Ghana cedis. And then in the last time around that auditors came through to gather evidence, it has come down to 163,480.85. And in terms of the latest update, we've been able to retrieve additional 22,708 Ghana cedis. And based on this, we realized that some of these individuals, and we are talking about loans that were mostly given between the period of 2010 to 2016-20 thereabouts. So this repayment, some of these individuals have gone on retirement and all of that. So other efforts have been put in place in retrieving these funds. And these efforts, I think they're evident to that effect in terms of letters that have been written to SNIT and all of that. And some of these defaulters to chase these funds.
Well, I think between 2019 and 2023, if what you are saying is right, then I mean, we must commend you. But my challenge has to do with those who have gone on retirement. What strategy are you adopting to retrieve the monies, bearing in mind that probably maybe they have contributions with SNIT and all of that?
Thank you very much. I think what we've been trying to do with that is that we reach out to SNIT, that some of these individuals have been on retirement and also taking their lump sum already. But what is left is their monthly stipends, which you cannot touch according to law. So what we did was to present a proposal to SNIT, asking that if it will be possible, as part of their corporate social responsibility, if they can come in and assist some of these individuals who are, some of them in a very deplorable state, to offer them some level of relief. So whilst they support these individuals, we'll be able to raise some funds for the institution so that we can pass these monies on to other people within the civil service.
All right, please do that. Auditors, please confirm if indeed is retrieved all these monies.
Honorable Chair, as at the time of our last comparison, we can confirm 22,708.99 Ghana cedis, leaving a balance of 431,330.39. Thank you.
Please furnish the auditors with the latest evidence. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Paragraph 2395, Vice Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Now, we have some borrowers with loan durations more than the remaining period to retire. And we are talking about of an amount 298,224. My first question is, what has happened to these amounts?
Thank you very much. I think these individuals, some of them, we've been able to have arrangement with them and repayment have commenced. And others, the challenge we had was that some of these individuals have left their service, so it was quite kind of difficult. So we've started other processes to retrieve this money from them. And we also had meetings with controller for which evidence of same have been presented to the auditors. That had to do with the fact that the controller that do the deduction would do the needful in terms of helping us retrieve this and take these deductions on time for us so that we'll be able to pass it on to others.
You see, if you read paragraph 2395, The auditors are saying that we attributed this anomaly to ineffective records management at the board. There is also lack of effective due diligence on the part of the schedule officers regarding the age of the borrowers before approving and disbursing loans. So these people have retired.
Now, oh, me.
Obek Hanukre. Susu Sang Pine, Pia Wanton, be a man in quite bebre.
Mommy, you first can see about Kotoso. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shade and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Exchange rate in Suya. Unbeatable. We should be promo code Dr. Like £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. What is send this guy Akofino? Download to Lemonade Finance.
Occurrences of this scenario where people go on retirement and still be indebted to the organization.
Auditors, could you confirm the amounts that they said they've collected so far?
Honorable Chair, we can confirm 21,300 as money that has been so far recovered, leaving an outstanding of 276,924.65. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm done.
Deputy Ranking, paragraph 2402.
Thank you very much. Do not have a board.
Not as we speak.
Minister, what is preventing your ministry from appointing a board for public servants housing loan scheme?
Thank you, Chairman. The ministry is in the process of reconstituting the board, and I can assure you that very soon we'll have a board in place. Thank you.
Is it the case that the answer given to the auditors that people seem not interested in that board? Why? What's happening? I mean,
yes, that's correct. As you know, this is not a very lucrative institution, so I'm sure many people that we have nominated later on would decline.
Well, but I think it's public service, and now with the streamlining from the Ministry of Finance, virtually all boards, for instance, I will travel from Accra to Tema, and you just be giving fuel, and I take it as part of my public service. So please encourage. There are a lot more Ghanaians who are experienced in this field who would want to serve. So please take steps, because it's hindering their progress. I think when a board is in place, so that it lessens the burden on the chief director as well. Because now the chief director is acting as the entire board. So please, let's work at it.
Mr. Chairman, noted. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Minister, that's not a good enough answer. Because if we don't have a board, right now we may be losing over close to 300,000 from people who are retired and we've given them loans. So, just Akoya Bansika, I mean, come on. Setting up a board, how many years have we gone without a board?
For some time now.
Oh, this is not good enough. We are supposed to have a board that will help. And because of Yo Mate. Look, Minister, there are some MPs here, MPP MPs, who are not on any boards. You can put them on it. Some MPP MPs, they don't have any boards. I know that some people are on 3-4 boards, but there are some people over here who don't have any boards. Put them on it and they will work.
Mr. Chairman, as I indicated earlier on, we are far advanced in getting the board in place, and I can assure you that very soon the board will be inaugurated and they will start working.
That'll be all for Public Servant Housing Loan Scheme Board. Let's have the last Architectural and Engineering Services Limited, AESL. And kindly introduce yourself to the committee.
My name is Isaac Boyson, Director of Finance, AESL.
My name is George Kwashi, Audit Chairman. Audit Committee Chairman.
My name is Isaac Ajema for MD AESL.
All right, so paragraph 2427 is on your operational result. You keep making losses, even though it's dropped a little by 8.7%, you still make about 5.9 million Ghana cedis loss in 2019. This is because your your total expenditure increased by 55%, and your income increased by 39%. Well, how is the situation like now, as of 2022 or 2021?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The situation has changed. There has been some improvement in the revenue after that year. So we are now in progress. Thank you very much.
Let's move to the next one. Honorable Aduma Kisi, Vice Chairman, paragraph 2434.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This is absence of audit committee, AESL. Why don't you have an audit committee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have an audit committee. It was not. Yes, please.
You have it now. By the time of the audit, you didn't have it.
You didn't.
Auditors, could you confirm if they have an audit committee now?
Honorable Chair, they have audit committee now. Thank you.
The next one is paragraph 2439. Encroachment on companies' properties. At Weja, you have 4-acre parcel of land, portion encroached by Gas South Municipal Assembly and private developer. Of Anchor, you have 2.18 portion encroached by private developer. Weja again, you have 3 acres, portion encroached by Gas South Municipal Assembly and private developer, and the same Weja, 2 acres, portion encroached by private developer. Now, the recommendation by the auditors is to seek legal redress against the encroachers. What action did you take on these encroachers?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We've engaged our solicitor to assist the company to ensure that these encroachers are dealt with. And then another recommendation was that we have to set a task force. So now we have a task force in place, making sure that activities of these encroachers are checked. As for Gan South, because it's a, in fact, it was because they are government. Even currently, Ministry of Trade wrote to us that they want a parcel of land to locate a business advisory center. You know, but because we've not met with the board, we told them to put it on hold. When we are done with the board, then we'll give them answer. Yes.
Do you have a board?
Yes, we have a board.
So, do you still need those parcels of land for purposes for which they were acquired in the first instance? Are you still going to use them for those purposes?
Yes, Honorable Chair, we'll still use them for the same purpose.
And what are those purposes for which you acquired them?
AESC didn't acquire those lands. Those lands were acquired during the days of PWD. So in 1973, when PWD was split into SCC, AESC, and the like, that portion of property was given to us. And when we transited from AESC to AESL, we still own that land. There was a school on that land where we used to trade our technicians. But that school also is taken over by the Ministry of Local Government. Yes. So we'll still use it for the intended purpose.
Auditors, they claim they are working on how to get those lands back and also to prevent encroachers by having you said a committee? Did you say a committee? Task force, yes. Are you aware of that?
Honorable Chair, we are aware of the task force formation to protect their landed properties, and we've also cited a letter from their council to the consolidated law firm. So we've seen all those issues that they've initiated. Thank you.
All right, you have to do everything to protect your lands. If not, they will take all the land from you.
We are doing our best.
Okay. Paragraph 2446. Deputy Ranking.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Paragraph 2446 has to do with failure to pay your statutory deductions. We realize that you owe SNIT, your payee, and your VAT some 15 million Ghana cedis, and you attribute this to your inability to collect your debt owed by government agencies. First, I want to find out from you if you have settled this debt.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As you speak, we settled our indebtedness to SNIT. There was penalty on the principal that we have to settle. We paid the principal in full, and we've paid about 33% of the penalties on the principal. So we wrote to SNIT to grant us waiver on the balance of the penalty, for which just yesterday, was it Monday, we received a letter from SNIT acknowledging the receipt of the letter we sent to them, and that it is receiving attention.
When did you write this letter to SNIT?
We wrote it last year.
Last year.
And we were not receiving response, so we...
what is happening to the payee and the VAT?
No, for the payee, we've paid it in full.
And VAT?
VAT, that is where we have the difficulty. Maybe my Director of Finance can speak to that.
All right.
Thank you. For the VAT, and the last year when we came, we mentioned it, we have some challenges of from our clients that we need to get what they are owing us for us to pay. The other one is, the moment we issue fee claims, then we capture it on the system, even though we haven't issued any VAT invoice. And it takes time before we get the paid. That's why we have, but however, we've written to SIGA and Internal Audit Service Agency to lead us if we can negotiate, and then there will be some waiver. That one with the VAT, as well as some of the debt that we are not able to collect. Thank you.
So you need a waiver on the VAT that you need to pay to government?
Yes, please. From 2004 up to 2018.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Auditors, can you confirm if they've paid SNIT, the principal, and 33% of the penalty, and also that of payee? And also if you could let us appreciate the challenges they have with the VAT.
Honorable Chair, we can confirm 1,539,976.7 out of the 3,515,501 of SNIT. That's what we can. The rest, we don't have any information to that effect. For the waivers, we've cited the letter that they've written to GRE and Senate on the penalties, but no responses have been received. Thank you.
All right. So please, so you realize that you claim you've paid the entire 3-point-something million, but the auditors are saying otherwise. Kindly give your evidence to the auditors so they verify.
Okay. Noted.
Okay, well noted.
Last one, paragraph 2454. Ranking member.
Thank you.
Vice Chairman, sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Now, you have overdue receivables, and part of the reason why you can't pay your VAT is because there are overdue receivables of 31 million Ghana cedis. Now, AESL, let me read you the comment by the auditors. Paragraph 2456, lack of management supervision to ensure that customers pay up their debts had occasioned this anomaly. Lack of management supervision. Let me read you another one, 2458. We recommended to management to put in place an effective debt collection and recovery policy to ensure collection of all debts. This 31 million Ghana cedis in receivables, how much of this amount have you received, have you collected since this audit of 2020?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. For the GET Fund, as at December 2022, the certified fees that they are owing is 1.2 million. The balance of about 8 million, they are saying, unless we produce evidence that there was a contract. That is why we are pleading if there can be a waiver.
So you didn't answer my question. Let me ask the question one more time. You have receivables of 31 million Ghana cedis. This was at the time of the audit in 2020. How much of this amount have you been able to collect?
Thank you very much. It is reoccurring. Balance brought forward, addition, and then at the end of the year, the balance carried forward. That makes the difference of how much you have collected. As at December 2021, Ministry of Education was owing us 14 million.
Sir, it means, let me ask this question one more time. You had receivables of 31 million Ghana cedis. How much of these receivables have you been able to collect since the last time the auditors were there, 2020?
That's how we balance.
This is education. This is education, and then this is what you call it. And this, you see. So
the 63, how much have we collected? That's all.
You see, it is recurring, so you won't know
how much have.
Auditors, could you let us know in case they have collected any of these receivables?
Honorable Chair, the balance is still outstanding. Thank you.
Minister, you see where we are. Minister.
Chairman, I want to plead that you give us some time. The officer and the team, they are working together to come out with the right figures.
Minister, I'm worried. And the reason why I'm worried, this is AESL. They had a letter from Parliament Public Accounts Committee that they were coming here to answer questions on infractions that they had. And they should have known before they came in here that we're going to ask them questions about overdue receivables. You ask a simple question and they cannot give you an answer. Minister, if I was you, I would be very worried about the management. And even the auditors have said it. Lack of management supervision to ensure that customers pay up their debt had occasioned this anomaly. And I think it's being exhibited right here on live television. They can tell us how much of this 31 million they've collected.
Mr. Chair, can I make a little input here?
Yes, sir.
Actually, these debts came to the committee's attention. And as far as we are concerned, that's the audit committee. We are aware that some money has been collected. And indeed, there's a committee called the Debt Recovery Committee, if I'm not mistaken. And they are on top of what they are doing, except that I can't talk to the specific figure that has been collected. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You see, and this is where I get even more worried. I'm even more worried. We have an audit committee. You have receivables. You have collected some money. You don't know how much. So how are we going to work on getting the rest of the money? So we say you are buying seeker. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, can I speak to that one too? Indeed, there are 3 organizations that are owing the AESL in terms of debts. Some of, 3 of them, majority is coming from Ministry of Education. And it's way back 2004. Some of them we have identified, some had been paid. And our concern now is to ensure that we get the list, we actually look at the age analysis, and then if there are documentary evidence to that effect, then we can even write to the ministry to ensure that these things are. At the last AGM that we held last year in December, this issue also came up, and we even requested the Ministry of Finance to also assist in the debt collection for us, because sometimes you write and unfortunately the responses do not come the way you expect, and payments are also delayed. Thank you.
Sir, this audit was done 2 years ago. It was done 2 years ago. You can give all the reasons, but you can't tell us how much you've collected. Whether it's GES that owes you or military that owes you or whoever, how much have you collected? Mr. Chairman, I rest my case. I can get an answer.
Thank you, Chairman. You have indicated that efforts have been made. Do you have any documentation to present to us or to the auditors, if you did, in terms of the efforts that you have made?
Mr. Chair, can I take this question up again? As at 31st December 2021, the balance we have is 4,759,459 Ghana cedis, 60 pesos. Now, the total credit figures that we have, meaning that the amount that has been received is 21,269,296,047 per the general ledger that we have. That's the project clients' balances that we have. So this is the total figure that we have. So I think that should be the situation that we have as at 31st December 2021.
So you are now telling us about what you've been able to collect in terms of the figure that was captured by the auditors. So how come you did not make this information available to the auditors?
Thank you very much. I said that we add the new fee claims to the balance brought forward.
You know, the way it works is that when the auditors come to audit, you are with them They spend time with you. When they are done, they hold the exit conference. They let you know their outstanding issues and they alert you to what additional information they need. Then they send you the management letter. So in all of this, and even knowing that you were to come before the Public Accounts Committee, you didn't know that it was relevant and important to let them know that you've collected this much. Sometimes you create the problem for yourselves. Mr. Chairman, it looks like the dynamics have changed. Now we are hearing that some monies have been collected, but as to whether that can be authenticated here and now is subject to your direction.
When you did the age analysis, can you confirm that the recovery that you have made, you've been able to cover these overdue receivables captured by the auditors?
Answer that one. Mr. Chair, we haven't done the age analysis yet, but we are pursuing the debt as and when those that are recoverable. So that is the position as at now.
But if you have not done age analysis, how will you know those are recoverable?
Yes, per the schedule that we have, we are able to identify the balances that were brought forward before 2020. So that gives us the understanding that these are debts that are owing prior to the period of audit. So therefore, those that are added on, that's the current one, we know that there's a cutoff period, and these are the added on, and these are the payments. So like we are saying, there's the need for us to undertake a thorough assessment of the...
So you are setting off the payment against the current debts that are added on, or you are setting them off against the overdue debts?
Per the analysis that we have the opening balances at a particular point in time.
Yes.
Then we have the debts that have been accumulated for the current year.
Good.
Then we have the payment thereon.
Good.
And therefore there is a balance outstanding.
That's right.
So definitely...
So we assume that any payment made is against the previous one.
Year and the current one.
And current ones.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you.
All
very
right.
much.
So if we take the current debt, is it less than the 31 million or more?
Mr. Chair, per what I have here, it's less than the 31.
So it means that there is a recovery, into the old ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Do we have a TDC, or they've gone? So they will not even wait for you. There's a question I have for them, but unfortunately, they left before the question. They be charging ground rents, and then the assembly also charge property rates. I wanted to know what is their ground rent for. What is the ground rent for? Because the property rate, we know for the assembly is backed by law. The ground rent, what is it for? They collect the ground rents, and then the assembly collect the property rates. They all collected the same year. So this year, 2023, TDC will charge the ground rents, and then TMA will charge property rate.
Chairman, right. Most of these lands were encroached by people, but in order not to sack them from the lands, I think we agreed that we'll charge them some rate annually. So that could account for it.
How about those people who acquire it genuinely?
Well, I mean, they live within the Tema enclave, and once these lands belong to TDC, and I mean, it's important for them to contribute.
Is it backed by law? Okay.
Yes.
Chairman, let me clarify. Ground rent is payable to the owner of land or property. Now, the property rate is charged by the district assembly, who exercises dominion over the area. And that one is based on the value of property. So they are all backed by law. Ground rent is based on land.
So assuming that the 300,000 that he mentioned, which is a cost of 70 by 100 at community 24, if I'm able to buy that land, 300,000 Ghana cedis, after I built on it, I have to pay ground rent to TDC every year. Is that a point?
Yes, normally ground rent is made part of the terms of the leasehold agreement, reviewable periodically.
See, we'll give you a particular period of time. It's like 60 years, 70 years, a leasehold. And the ground rent continues to remind you, occupying the land, that the land is for me. It's not elsewhere that you throw the land, and sometimes you don't even know the age, you don't even know when the land was acquired and all that. So TDC will continue to get that. As the years goes, they take their ground rent until...
It is not the same when you buy or you get a lease from a private owner, like Stu Land or any other means. It's not the same.
Yes, but they don't charge it. It doesn't mean that...
Why?
It doesn't mean that in law they cannot.
But, and Chairman, you know, state housing also charges ground rent. State housing.
All right, thank you very much. So that'll be all for you. You are discharged.
Thank you, Chairman.
Honorable members, we have come to the end of sitting for today. Tomorrow, we are expecting a number of agencies to appear before us. The Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, Ministry of Roads and Highway, Ministry of Local Government, National Population Council, Ghana AIDS Commission, Bank of Ghana, and NITA, and GIFEC. We are expecting them tomorrow to appear before us. So tomorrow at 9:30 in the forenoon, the committee sitting is adjourned.
Now,
Susu sang kwai bia wan to nam bia e man in kwai bebre.
Mommy, you fish can see about Kotoso. Pepoga, send me sika from Lemon and Finance. While Brian, tell the shade and let me £50.
Lemonade finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted instant charges. Exchange rate unbeatable. We should be promo code Dr. Like £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. What is this guy? Download to Lemonade Finance.
Nancy Yadia bomb, and the idea no coho, coachre woman, some mushroom money. A bomb was sharing no money. So, Mrs. Adia, so here's a medical hospital. It is an idea corner of a tomojam. And Timmy and Mina will be the of fat ties the family to McCoy. Baby, McCoy, when my doctor. Now, McCoy, nature said I didn't go drone, and Jessica and Moi, Menano, a pro inside. And na yesa me private car me beton private car high listen na beton nam say na ye ni brisam nti bo sha mo sha me suska no manti car no beton fofofo.
Between 2017 and 2020, the Bank of Ghana, in a radical move, conducted what it tagged as a cleanup of the banking sector. This saw the revocation of licenses belonging to over 100 financial institutions. The Bank of Ghana said this was necessitated to safeguard the deposits of customers. In the end, some customers were compensated. However, some customers of the National Trust Holding Company Limited are yet to receive their funds. This is because their financial institution was not affected by the exercise. However, their efforts to access their funds has yielded no results for over 2 years. Today, we sit with some affected customers to listen to their plight. This is Say Loud on GhanaWeb TV. My name is George AEC. Welcome back. This is Say Loud with me, George AEC. As indicated earlier, we are seated today with some customers of the National Trust Holding Company. When the government conducted a banking sector cleanup in 2017 and 2020, they were happy that their institution was spared. But that notwithstanding, their efforts to retrieve their funds some 2 years has failed. We speak to some of their customers this morning. Benny, yeah. With the answer na ebeshem komona se no answer nkomo enam krom ha ne se oman ni maye den aban na nkasa agi atum se eniema enhyeda enye sa se na modie muti etisa sisi ne de oman no emu aye den no efa no agye sika samso enti se me ma famu no bra ye 2017 and I buy fee as voluntary pensioner and a pensioner. And Tamwa me buy no company so o jam kwan kakra. To me buy no scano with the be ye fee numa kakra na a bar say a bra ye bebano. So I trust fund a if we buy your whole year introduction be say Kayametu to treasure best no money insurance a be a person ye be a bar on bit my boy. That time of yenya trainer bia o training and say ye be fie sika sem enya basabasa e for ne game ne company no game enti ono so tie nkrofo no kasa ne bia enti akire no kan say investment na o hwe nkrofo no talk no ne ade na say ye pese ye timi ewura mu a
yenya kokodrum mu na investment ebe boy na no so bank no say what din for long ayinti say it me invest here ebe boy nkosi say it can be kwakoda on yedi nikwa enitima yani eba saa butai no so nti enu na chi no say me say no me call on office na bra me call ye no de koda me ho adi say me free akabro na mra me be kofie no interview bi course wo honum ana say introduction bi course wo na ma nije ho nti mpese me be invest nti onu so je me so na mum no yantimi an go through agreement ayibi say ebia say ni na mum mo jiska no ma onum me ya ayino two separate 20,000 one separate and another 20,000 and also separate. But first 20,000 3 months interest no na 3 months and another 20,000 so me no 6 months enti me ye sa adeni wie yo mu conclude bibia no no ma me receipt na me de buy enti ewo mu no ano 6 months soon 3 months in the almost the mommy. Okay. Another 6 months in the show, and some of the mommy. I say, if you want to, just a Koyaka.
Okay. Any better than me, but Yabeka, Pacho, Eja also Medicain, a sitting a motor saying, Sonia, Yamate or my Mussin.
Sitani de Moya de Pa, said a canon. Me so me joining NTAC 2018. January, me to treasure bill me 2 different types. Nina na 30,000. Inti 2019 no na said me titi se NMC cost no na efa nam one ni yina ebobo ban any banking clean up exercise no me nti me rashiko echo withdraw one ema omutu yamani nti another part na ekaye no e free hono na interest no so mutua no nemba se 3 months no ebe delay ansana ebe yo cobra sa ansana actually omodi ama
nti oni omo ye sen boso me sen ansa cobra na start no year November 14th 2019 last year 3 months interest amejia no November 2019 14th November 2019 and the free honor there na say 3 months na mabiem kra mabiem nti free honor wo kwa na ya say na da na say o tena say sa ana ye di krekre mu a ye guso hwani mu say yensa be ka bibi o ka say na say o tena say no mpendo do say na wakoho na okwa dan potin na omokacho ho de yakoho several times I mean some no bia meti ye ni say almost discount na invest na nipa na almost discount no bia bobo nkrofo bisia almost scanner ko di omo no almost contractors media meti ye na meka but contractors no so enti mi metu ye sika no enti na yen sika no allocation asema me tie ne bi no openyi o kan se omuba wa adwuma mu be cheche mu senia but eden potin na e wungina so efa gidie a wo mu ene wankasa wa brabo ana eda wani mu no eden potin na hye wunkran an ma one NTAC no ekọ dis answer waso no
ne hye mi nkran se on se na ye wo ye training pension training and instead of your about sikasam a bit between a handle na anko ye basa cause kano ye the bani hu do nese asamba ho abema yabra bono asesa nti na mdi kaka say one company bi leader ayana say yini gama no otreni workers so far abrabo ne adwuma yemu experience no nti that time na mine wo ho nti introduction ne course no ma ne ti nti akiri no kan say o so dem dey kaka no wo mo enhihye no investment di yebia ebitima boy do ono no nim wo be pie no so nti ba say ono wo nim de na o kan bibi sa na ehye yenkran nti ama anu na chi no a me ba fie no sometime na me call ono mo ho nti say no mo eputu process no so dem make am first part no me 3 months second part no me 6 months we said the menu and kind me call honum omo ma me first 2018 no so omo e mine afi 2019 no said the eka no na ayen twensene okwa na yinti hono na the air me kosi ni so no o ka kire me say say bia isika no eye no mo no so de bobusian say the menu ID kaka na busian na omo de bono omo de bo road contractors and electrification contractors are government no afa won enu ti say no sa sika no wono mo nti say omo betua no government ni ntu omo kan to omo so so sika no ma ena omo nya bi employment ayesa enti omo de asem na court enti court gina so a wo ye eyi se de be ya wono betua sika no ama contractors sika kan so betua mo betua ma bank no straight no omo so nya de entertain.
Okay.
Ano no mu ano twitwitwitwi saa no abesi se ye no kasa ha.
Okay. Openi also me ji say over pension na okoe den na epusu ema over pension o decide ye say oni omubekwa akodi saa ansama so na so ade hu ben na eda wani mu nti a ema otu saa na mo no.
Oh, I say sika de ye de ma na eda wonchen na wan hwesu yi a ebetimi asa enti me no na me ye imagine say me bra pani na o de me koi na me de okan de ma me so me gitu mu say sika no eda wonchen sa ebetimi asa enti say me de investment kra na say 3 months bia me nya profit na me the profit no mom ebetu to bibia di na say me sika no eda ho nti anu nti na ma me eko join e and secondly NTAC no me wo adwuma mu ho na me hu say a omo ba ho first na nkofo bi agige na ayese susu bi a omo gigi na omo de koto hon workers ni bi saa na omo ye no John to say me ba fie ya me bra so bo mama ne say investment bi o ha e betimi aya every 3 months bi e benya bibi o anu nti na ma me join in
but so ejuma be na we na we ni fie sen
na me wa kra bru me ejuma o 27 years
eta so ye fie we ni fie sen
me ejuma o 37 years ko ho na mo 19 years me be ba na mo 55 years.
But also oko wa
me so me ko 1990
then time now one say
I'm 23 years.
Okay. All right. So they've both been telling us about their journey with NTC. They both worked with the Accra breweries, and our father here tells us that he joined the company at the age of 19 and he joined at the age of 23 years. They worked throughout that period, and on their retirement they decided to invest the money with the institution. They hope that they will have a secure future that will benefit themselves and their family, but this has not yielded the results they expected. We'll take a quick breather, and once we return we will delve into their challenges in trying to access their funds and how it is affecting their personal lives and the way forward. We'll be right back.
From the dawn of time, people have engaged in several businesses. With the onset of technology and innovation, life has relatively been made easier. By using debit or credit cards,
mobile banking.
Thank you. And your favorite, mobile money?
Tech has indeed married business. On BizTech, we spend time with faces behind known and upcoming businesses in the country.
Learn more about the new technologies and innovation,
as well as find out about the trending issues in the world of business.
Join us as we serve you with a variety of compelling interviews, projects, and others right here on GhanaWeb TV.
Welcome back. This is still Say Loud on GhanaWeb TV with me, George AEC. We are here with Mr. Kodom and Mr. Odro. Yes, they've been telling us their journey with NTHC and how for over 2 to 3 years now they've found it very difficult in retrieving their invested funds. Is that after wako onsanka usika? So na sa development enya wo wankasa o personal wa brabo mu.
Oh, ani de se me ka masa anka enya yizi. Se sia me no to no se enye se me yire kura na odi akonia ba dwedie ho ade na anka ba se me pension ayin nko akura dia anka masa ka minim ni atome. Se me private car me use na say yade bo me de yade no ko ho ko kire wo me se mo hwe mama ni hunu e bo mo hye me no mo ani so so ade so ehia se me de ko hospital enti se ne na ade ne ko na afede eto mojam enti me nua no mu na obi de ko fa ties be fa me tu mo de me ko he me ba bia me ko ye ho adwuma doctor na me ko ye no na chese de ade na goduro no na nya sika antamo a me na no e pro wo inside enunti na yesa me private car me beton private car high nisi na beton nam say na ye ni brisam nti bo sha mo sha me suska no manti ka no beton fofofo mi tono 23 million aye 2300 masa sika na ni na ibia ba je say na mawura ayin mu nti no treatment kakra ana ma mobile metumi kura pia me no mote yakasa anka mi ndimi pie free dem ma bonti minu yan animo ofa yo mo ofa eno on beta meto kam a mo de me ko ya kire se ye ko twi ayi ma me se me ma ayi nti na ma me invest ya de no 3 months de se be yanka 3 months bi an make me nyesika de atwa nkwara school fees se ma no miensa da so school ba ko SS ba ko GSS ana keto apa no wo na class 5 enti me school akatua da manim pa so masa say me twem hu ba bi antwa enti se ganya me yiri na se aga kakra no no ko bana wo de ya anga enu gwaze aka me de e bi anga owo ko afa me ana se nka enye kai kura so anna wo ho bo me wadwuma ma me to ya na se nka me nan ho asem ba yi anga e bi am nim ne besi ti an wochere ya me kom me wo pim pa
Penny also so a wanya anything.
I want to read me wumpa. Is I me nkwala egusuko school fees ni ade adidie mu ne ansem ade. Me ba fie 5 years na ebe me nya adwuma da. Me tifie. Enti me sika no me de koto ho senka. Boso me miensa bia anka me nya bibi wo ho na anka me de adi. Se sika no interest maso na omo ama me bi sika no so a omo fama me so a omo fama me enti se ama sitene mu ayedin pa sitene mu de ayedin isi akra me so me fieru akra o tumi enti sika sam de in fact ayedin ama me papa
nkola no mo yesen
nkola no omo ye 4 ba isi a mienu de me fan se omo awie omo adu ba bia omo ankasa ebetima hwe omo nti mienu na aka no na say I am a bedding
we de bibisa o nim se eda owura NTC first there owura ho pie obeda wo mpa so na wadwina no se wo secure odachi anka ne nti bia no bosume bia na se ne awoye no bosume mensa bia obenya bibi de ahwefie se wohwe wachi saada no edi besi nani ne asia sen na etew.
Oh, in fact, I chance ne die nanka eye na me yentina me koyen. But as say die niam mu aye die ama me papa. Is it say can free baby am. Tell me kind 5 years na ebe me nya adwuma da me tifie. Sika nso a me de koto wa say nka ho interest ba ma me didi sika nso ma. Enti asetena mu dia aye dia ma me pa.
So maybe solve the same question. Ura ho pie saada no na wadwene say nyame ye wadoma enka na edi wanim ne de wa secure bibia but ohwe se ne anyama adane aye ya sen na ete wo mu
o se de ebomu wonom nte ne anyama adane no ebomu pa kire se abesiri wate se me asese me wo ma me ma meti ase me nuanu mo so nketo aso ho na sisi akoba se BBC krana ya tumenkra mintumenko because miska first na eba me start ya na movement ne ya ne de ene BBC a mitumiko afeso mitumi nkwara no edumadie bia so na mitumi di enti senke ko ne sa besi na anka asem we ene amane hunu bebrebe nka ema enti sisi ya de ahon yida pa de bedam so wom se obi betumi aka se misika 40,000 na me ko to on the den enso me de esombo mampa at least nka mentre ayi na agreement na ye en senka e ba so a minim se sa sika nka betumi amu me pa
okay sa na ya asi enyamo nko a na sebe aka mo munim omo a omo nso so eka mo hu bi omo nso omo die mu te sen sene amunim no me omo menim won mo no me adwumamfo na menim mo no obi yare da ho sisi a enye easy na me mbese me boni din so ba ko so saadi ne okọ no ne wo mo ntokwa ne ade e ma ne pressure e sorry ye no omo konkon anye ye on de yesie no so enti me workers group na ye call ye no problem a ye namu no se ye ka na se ye call mo so ba ko se de ye kan ya anka binum wo ho no ma kuhia ho no ma ni super wahu because se me nyankopa amwa na ebia sika no kwa me de bi ko si dan ewo me krom ma se da chen kwada kwa amanya ba bia da na me de sa sika pudo ni nyina akoto ho de a anka se da dwendwen kura kumi koto da obaba na me to din sa wan kasa me ho a na adwen no me hu kwa me fa so me sika so makata mo de mo fa me interest ma me fa me sika ma me na nka me ankasa no me hu kwa me fa so na manage sika so at that time of me ban me wa me travel ni aden cap 440,000 at that time no ko over bi kura me to ya nka bia badesa mateka nka ebo me enso hwe me wie so bi de kan ho ana
oh de meka ni se de me bra ne kan nipa ne de ye dosu pa ye dosu ye ko office wa ye hia nipa bebrebe ebi kura ya doctors ebi ya lawyers enum ne police for ne anade ye hia nipa bebre omo nso struggle to say the enso struggle ya ti si ano emu ayedin na akoye say ye ni okamafo obi anti na omo ye yensa nti enipa de bebre wo ho
ye kan okamafo asem ne nipa ne dodo no. How far are you willing to go to ensure say wa dia odi akwakoja obi no onsa beka anamombe na sesi amo hwe anim say mu betu ama monsa aka mosika
sisi ade anamon de eno ane senke ye sori ay ko dan ye ka na so aka dan no kwa na dan sem no a omuka no ama sesi de ye ni da so eni ti se ba se mo bisa ye no mu asem yi na senka ebeto aban na sum nanka aban no ama ne nkrofo a omohwe ankorankoro yie die mu hunu se asema ye kan dadwen a wo ho no badwen nanka ono mo ahwe ne nkrofo na kasa na ye ye die miasa no mo de sika man aka be ma man kura so asa aye ha because say ameto yi senye se nyi ne manyi na me sori na me ne nam saa na obi hia me obeka chem so mempa adwuma enso so nyamia hwese sika ida hoyi anya adwuma mfa so obi amre me mo fama de mam so mo fama me na we de owu asem enti sa aban no betie na oma wono mo a omo ankorankoro yie die na omo di ho dwuma no akọ nkrofo no ho no omo akoka na se wono mo no pepe busia bi kura de twetwa ka na ye mobro fu kura yeso yetumi de nwan ne de be yomponche ne de be ye na nka ye hunu ye ho ano a anka mfin se ebe ma oman no ana ye ya brabo mu no so ata adwodwe ye kakra
so dro onso e said ye ka no esi ya ni mu kase se empani 40 a ye besra o me so mu momodian na o mu tu ana mo no mu mo efi se ko no cry titi say NTAC no cry Bank of Ghana hu yet say Senate so hu enti up to now no ye hu anamon bia omuntu even though artisam ne titi enti say ye no cry say Bank of Ghana ni Senate for hu wo mu dia ane animanimu yi ha ya ye sre o mu a kwan bia o mbefa so a omodi ensika be man a omfa so na say ye bre
ja ye de sia no na ansa na mebisa wanu asem etwa to no on say before we nyina besi no aban ye clean up e make sure say omonan engine baby pa no oyi omu fi ho e ma omo customers ne krampo no aban kira otua omuka time a wote ye say wo de baby a osika da no anka omo no gidie be na ba omu Audit to ne asi hu a gidie be na ba omu na afi de wasem etwa to no na
abra abane kan sa no ehwemi bomi hu ama no sa kọ ho na mo kan se sisi ne ekosu mo so mo hihye etise omo so omo de omo omo ne abane na wi na omo ewo lansisa omo de adwuma na esika de enyera kwan bia so yensa beka na eno so makoma to me yem kakra edba yensa beka no achi a me ko ho di akwanya pa me yare ye a me ka ho asema omo da wi nyina achi ni hunu hwe nti ni nyina mu no se aba no nya hwehwemu na obi mama let se obi ko ye hwehwemu o Bank of Ghana ho ma me se nti mo ni din se wono ma yina enhye Bank of Ghana se eno me ti ye nche kura na enya me no wo kese eni ti se na no ma bi nyina sa ye he kire se eni ene che se ma wawi because emfa ho se de enti kan me de ewu bia no esom me bopa enti se no se ya mpa se o mpenfo be boa ye dia na se mpenfo sipi so mbe boa ye dia o munye hwehwemu hwe se nkofo na ye na registered for Bank of Ghana na
Mr. Joe asemisi ye no motu hu anamo motu hu anamo mpempen so be na mo de mo asem akodru a sila monte ho hwe
oh de meka ni se enu de office wa na de bia ye ko office wa na ye ko nti ye ko a de bia old story na no moka won twen bibi o pipeline mu sa de bia sa se panimu bi se ye hu panimu pa se last time bi ne call ya me bra yi pra na ye tam no to come ye call managing director na office anu ne call ye and ye gidigidi se si a mo frefre o mo ho o be shi a o se o be man sika no bi anu kra na nya ni nyina o mo ka se o be ma me bra yi 10,000 na ka me so o ma me 5,000 enso anu kra no later 5,000 normally ma me bread na me so ma me 3,000 say ye ntwen na sika ni wonti na chire o mugu so nti chire on besa ma balance na aka that was saska ya make cry o mo de my 20th June ya 2022 ya no mo de mai
nti ne krakra mo no mo de said de ne mo pai ba mo de to mo da kona juma kona no ene aban ene regulators no
nti hono de meka ne say besre aban ne say omremu na ye sika sem no onhwe na onye hu bibi man ene NTAC for na nkasa nso de omuye bia nso de se omuye bia omso nyire omo no omunye na afei no sika no omuma yensanka because sika na da won say no mo stop investment no say sika no enyi biem se mo stop no nso na esesa mo di sika man na se mo mfa man dia na se sika ya da ho over 2 years enyi biem enti se sika ne de kwan bia nso na omofa na omodi sika man enti e besra aban ne se on twa na ni hwe na nka omwaye na yensanka sika.
So it has been another episode of Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV with me, George AEC. My guests today were Mr. Francis Odro and Mr. Kojo Kodom. And they are two pensioners who invested with the National Trust Holding Company Limited in the hopes that their interest and their principal will help them in their time of need and in this time of their retirement. Unfortunately, that has not succeeded, as for the past 2 years they've been struggling to access their funds. They've been sharing their plight with me and telling me how life has been very difficult for them over the years, and they have appealed to the managers of the institution as well as the government and regulators of the fund management area to look into the matter and ensure that their funds are paid them. This has been another episode of Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV with me, George AEC, once again, and until we meet for our next episode, it's bye.
Now, oh, me.
Obek Hanukre. Susu sang pine, Pia want to Nambia, a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you basically see my cotoso. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shade and let me £10.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Extinguishing in Suya. Unbeatable. We should me promo code Dr. Like £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. With this Sunday cigar Akofino, download to Lemonade Finance.
This was the place where the people of Apiety were living before 20th January 2022, when the unfortunate happened, when there was an explosion. As a result, the whole community was razed down. People were rendered homeless, and they had to be resettled at a new place called the Apiety Resettlement or the Apiety Relief Camp. That place used to be a resettlement area built up by Future Global Resources. But now, the people of Apiety are occupying that place. The government has begun rebuilding the Apiety community. And this is what you see. As today marks exactly 1 year, the explosion happened. We are here on GhanaWeb TV to find out from the people how they have been faring, what have gone on so far, and what have they been up to. Stay with us.
It was almost midday on January 20, 2022, when the sound of an explosion was heard at Apiety, a community near Bogoso in the Prisia-Honi Valley municipality of the Western region. Properties were destroyed. 13 people died on the spot and several others got injured. 3 others died later, bringing the total number of deaths to 16. For several minutes, the community was filled with thick smoke as survivors struggled to find their way to safety. The explosion happened when a motorbike crashed into a truck carrying explosive materials from the Maxam Company Limited. The explosives were being transported by a subcontractor, Arthans Logistics, to the Chirano gold mines. The part of the road where the truck was standing after it caught fire caved in, destroying that portion of the road. The whole Apiety community, with a total population of about 1,000, was devastated, with all residents rendered homeless. The explosion brought together health, safety and security services, including the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Police Service, and the Ambulance Service, to ensure the victims were rescued safely. Due to the collapse of houses, the Municipal Chief Executive, Dr. Isaac Dasmani, and the Municipal NADMO officer found temporary places for the victims at the Bogoso Roman Catholic Parish Hall to pass the night. They were provided with food items, mattresses, and some clothing, after which the Apiety Disaster Relief Committee was formed to see to the proper management of the victims. They were later moved to the Dumasi settlement, a new community being constructed by Future Global Resources to temporarily settle them. Donations began pouring in from various companies, organizations, government agencies, international organizations, and individuals to support the victims. Tents were erected to serve as temporary residences for the victims at the new settlement called the Apiety Relief Camp. Currently, they have all been moved from the tents to the uncompleted resettlement buildings, where they feel more secure than in the tents.
This is crazy. This is crazy. The whole town. Town in Nala. School no. School no. School Nina is out. The whole town in Ebubu. Bomb no a blasted town in Alco.
A year ago, on 20th January 2022, after the incident, a lot of measures were put in place to at least to house the Apiety citizens. As I speak right now, they are being resettled at the Udumase resettlement camp, and then all the donations and other things that people brought are all be housed there, and then we have been giving it to them, those who are in and those who are outside. Unfortunately, some of the injured, people were not even, from Apiety, so they are all living. Some of them are living in Takrade, Takwa, Kumasi, and all of that. So we've taken data from all of them, and we are, ensuring that almost every month or every month we provide with some of the necessary needs for them.
But how has the Apiety Disaster Relief Committee been able to manage the victims from day one till today?
They brought in additional staff from national to support us, and with that we adopt a whole lot of strategy to work. It wasn't easy because the people were very traumatized and they didn't understand the process we were taking them through. But by God willing, we were able to go through. As I'm speaking, food sharing in the beginning was a little problem because of their database. but we were able to manage. As we went to the parish hall, the total number of that night was 868. Then we came to the camp and we were able to settle on their population, and we alight on the 1,036. As we came here, we were having 19 pregnant women. All of them has delivered, and we have 1 twins. So the total number was 10, and it has added to the number to make 1,036.
Some of the victims recounted their traumatic experiences.
Me bedroom kwana no manjina ho and do 5 minutes mpona den blasted boom. Nti eba na sa na etam e de me ko some foundation bi on my ball. Nti me sorry na me say I say moja so matare na me she verse white na me say me verse my ko na me say moja. Nti me peja me verse na me say me so the essence na ho. Na me de me say sabo me ko na me de fa if you can. Nti me ba me so me be say me ba me so say na be a me so me no mo de ma ba hospital. Me could do an if you in answer said. And at them times, no come here, the end in a muraja, and I am here to know you. Myself in a BGM summon, me him, Bans and I'm my ship. To me, feels you when I'm sending bad and Abam from horse row. It's my 5 minutes in pool, and I'm at the door. See, Madame Moon said, Miss Waba, them time I'm so painful. No, yes, so pajama. To pajama be how I tell them, no more than a boom. At the chairman. So, what me buy a maybe Pacona, bread a big soup. Beso me one of them got to come. So, what they ever asked us, no more they could be able to run a wire map. We never be put on the map. Yet one man at this age, Janice answered ever. No many a small boy go on or so many point. Still do no be at the baby and it's one of my moodies. I made that brag him no more for a sort. You could run so I knew you, no more to come. It's my team and I whatever. Our Mupian winners him. See the Muya and my operation.
Daddy, I don't know what you're. Okay, more praising. No, we that was 1 week. We in the nah, so what you have. But yeah, I see a problem. I want to know why not. How come why the pressure? The pressure on the blood. It's fine. Yeah, basa.
But that time na se misi na mo fi na mfa da ko efo mo ba na mu no kan da me manusu ti me din su no fi inside ba na ma da brana na mo hu da wusu afokrum da ma na me kre da aso obi ne dan le shiwo na wona mo de ma ho wo hwe na o che da obi mu ye adwuma won ho ina wo ko de wo kware wa akobɔ ne nka we adum gyan da e bia la obi ne dan na o le shiwa na wo de kwan ti me so mo tu me dan ne mo ameko hobi akɔhwehwɛ mma na waka ne dɛ obi ankodum ne mita na mesa amachi kodum mita nti mukɔ na mekɔhwehwɛ mba nti mukɔ na wɔsɛ wɔ mena ne ɔlɔbɔ bankyi ho nti mukɔ wɔ na wɔsɛ wɔ agya ho kwan dɛ wɔnkɔ wɔsɛ hɔ abaako bi hɔ wasɔ nti mizu mi die mi ka abla mu kodu wɔ ne de na ɔkyɛ dɛ ade na mpo wazɛ wa mena tam na aso ate mi na minni me na no so wɔ kwan no ho ba nti mukɔ ka bi sɛ na wɔkyerɛ me dɛ mesa amachi na mekɔ na ade no blasting nti mama yɛ tutu me na mede no all kwan no ha me pra mo gye no win pa but mutumi sorry tue mi nka kodu mi fie ho na echidi ho na me yembre mutumi nkasa mutumi ya hwe na mete na wa obi obabia na wa pam wo si gye ne ibo we na obaba na odi mi nka obi obabia onu unnu akura den na gye ne ba nti obapam ho da ma ne blade bia na so we pra wana ni olba obafa mi shechi no odi me die mi nka ekwan bi de odi me fa do ane ye besi ko emi ya ka me ye de ko bogosu
Tina be po ni bo mi ka ne tai wa pa
if you go here, you go buy it kind or a show. I should be Muslim walk on I should be here, no catch a minute, you win. See, you when you go to be dinner, we catch a young woman in Mita. See, meeting my book of me, when an acquisition 2 years, may what be. Me run a babamna, who not them winter. Me or she should put no trouble to no force you. I'm trained. The two guys as a move around, but maybe I don't know. But in your hospital, the book was also open your
Nam wo fienti Adam was told the mere how I'm talking to turn the daw. Inti meti proba na minyima do kunti mesar mesona par pan mo de na mo chika kra o baby amesoma wan. Inti meti da na mse da media me sore fi minyama ni mo na mejina no kwan ni mo na ma sha do kura olutwe mo kwa ko mo no ayeda. Inti bitwe me no na ka no ije dimma oleta pa nya abunta mi fi ho mo no na mo ko ma me mo so TV esti na me pen na wo na maka chọrọ mo nunu bitan na wo mpwe na damadi na esi kwaro kwano ntemi na mama dwuna ande transformer na so bebe aka no ola kapaka no ntimi ya dam no na wo esi ntimi ne ko ni inside wana bedum mimi kanu nti atras wana na mti bra we no se bechi mo boy na no jina mchano no se bechi ntimi ni ntimi ntemi na onkeka no bonsu sabe de media minka ntentima na me pede obi bo so me bana mu na wa ama me bana enyankwa ama timikekema ba me ya na me shi obi a ntima me bi wo fa na ntima sa on de so fihino na o so me bana mu do oni de by the time ade begina ha mu na me bana onshi ntima me ni tini chere asana olusun to shi na o shi ya na o ka cha na menje me bana na o ko hye na so na de no.
Many had their legs, arms, and other parts of their bodies broken as a result of the explosion, with some still having particles of metals within their bodies. 1 year on, life has not been easy for the victims as they lost everything they had, bringing their lives to a total standstill.
Sisi obanda muno this ya yenya hwe ndi ya yesre abanda sisi ya yesre na lada muaye no yenya aso papa pa mu abo he sisi ya mu abo he koduru no yesre sisi ya mu edu no ya dzin ma he mu ya kakra na je botum na so da tonton bibi ya da hwa mu fra me ya make it a miskam dey business bibi na abanda mu sika na ahye nti eja so obi no badom mu kra age so di flu na ton wi ade ni sika kuma nti ama ye wo manyin until the first no cry we just the teman kasa banda mun so yanku mu aduma ina ya basa nti iya mbana na ya yemanyi ya wo just the woman kasa first no ya wa Apiety no ma yeso kakra me ton ade me san so pama ade kakra obi di nema ba na ma pama ma no na me ton nema kakra nka na asem ni sie na beduru ha no ese obi an pama ade bi na ade ton no so na enko te se first no wo to kofa nema begu ha besi ho saa nti ayi sama Saturday bia na maton machine akotena ba woso na ye otation kakra nka menya kakra na me de abefia be de abebo me ba no school ko nti kakra metimi aka na mas.
Some of these women who have begun these small businesses receive support from some organizations so they could start their lives over again.
Yeah, well, since the incident happened, there have been some series of donations, series of monies given to them. Some organizations even gave them some money, directly to them, not through assembly, not through NADMO. Some of the things that the money that were given to them directly and other things, a lot of them have picked their lives back and they are seriously going about with their activities, with the exception of the injured. And once you go there, you see that people are happily moving around and then doing their own businesses. So I think now the challenge we are having is that those who are injured, because we have about 8 people who are paralyzed, and as at now, some of them cannot even walk. So those are the people that we are concentrating now and then providing some support for them.
The people of Apiety have expressed their profound gratitude to the Apiety Disaster Relief Committee and donors for the support so far.
Oh, since I did, I don't form my moya, I did Johnny Bray and paying for. My Johnny, all right. Much Johnny, my maid did me. If you here, be a office was to see ya, that's at the corner of one. Or mut me there, or mut me the my. Say, young Jane conquered and cock boy, young Johnny, ye be. By a sign you become Honswa, yep.
Some of the victims were, however, of the view that the monies donated by companies, organizations, and individuals were not enough for them. The PRO of the Apiety Disaster Relief Committee, Daiweo Kwashi, explained the reason.
Yes, there's one confusion in the minds of almost everybody in this country. That has to do with the various funds that are in place to take care of the Apiety issue. One of them is the Apiety Disaster Relief Fund. That is made up of the local people that are in charge of the day-to-day running of the Apiety people. It is chaired by the MC, the divisional chief, Nana Atakojo Brembi, is on that committee. The area head of the Church of Pentecost Apostle, the parish priest, police commander, health director, and the rest. We are all on that committee. That is what I'm part of. We receive donations around, yes, but how it has been circulated around that all the donations come to us and we still cry for money, it's something else. It makes it look like we don't know what we are doing. Truth is that when the incident occurred and the government promised reconstructing the community, they set up a fund that is headed by our own dear mother, Madam Joyce. That is the support fund. The mandate was to look for money, to solicit for funds, to reconstruct the community. That is why the fine that was placed on Maxambe asked that a certain percentage be paid into that fund, which was the seed money for the reconstruction. So all those donations that you heard, Ghana Gas, this GMPC and the staff, Go Fields, the $4 million, 8 million Ghana cedi and stuff, it didn't come to the relief committee. It went into the support fund. That is what they are using to reconstruct the community. So we, the relief committee, we don't receive that huge donation for us to have enough to do all these things that they are asking.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, on Friday, January 21, 2022, paid a visit to the victims where he, on behalf of the government, assured them of the rebuilding of the Apiety community. GhanaWeb's visit to the reconstruction site indicates that some of the buildings were at the roofing level, others at the lintel and footing stages. Brick molding machines were erected on site, with workers busily molding the bricks to ensure constant supply of bricks.
The government assured the people of reconstructing their community for them. And like I said, individuals and organizations have donated building materials. Recently, Talo Ghana donated 4,000 bags of cement. That is quite a number. With other organizations, Gapoha and stuff, all donating cement. Others, iron rods and stuff. And as you can see, it's evident that reconstruction is ongoing. And like the consultant said, by June, July, we should be seeing a completion to the works that is ongoing. And just like how the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Samuel Jinapor, assured, by the end of this year, the people of Apiety should come back to their community.
Now, if you look at the main reconstruction, headed by the Honorable Benito Bio, as we speak right now, work is progressing steadily, because initially there were some groundwork and paperwork and all those things, and they got caused a little delay. But since they started, the work is progressing. Right now, we can say that they are about 35% complete, and they are still working on it seriously. So we are all following up with our rapt attention and making sure that at the end of the day, the Apiety people get their homes back and get their lives back. It's right now it's about 35% complete, and then the target is by July, where all the buildings should be at the roofing stage, or maybe let me give myself maybe plus or minus by the close of this year, we should be able to relocate.
Although the government of Ghana fined maximum $6 million, the chief of the community and its residents do not think the amount was enough.
Na nia mesre ne se nia Ghana man anase Ghana ban etumi ejina aye se atoyenchem esi yi obehwe na o ma chichire Apiety kuro no foforo no nia mesre me sadam yam na akufo ado ne se onfa sa kwan na so na on share mazam company for no kutupa se yava ne se compensation a se so mo de mai no abanu fa ne nan ensi form na on show mo ketupa say e so mo ma Apiety man
say na asemisi no ebi yawo e ko mazam for and one peka say often e dan ni si no ka fa no ho waji tum say ko fa no ho waji tum dia ono nya e besi ase on say abi ne yebedi afia skebia na obia hu ya yede bi ba mni prai yaza obugotum ayi djuma don no wetum ejina na name to say man ka otida da yes rere nanado obasia akomazam fo ho no asan ihu akejina asan akasa ema ometum abamanya competition.
While requesting for more support, the Deputy NADMO Director, Louis Afo, and the PRO, Dhaiwe Kwashi, expressed their profound gratitude to all companies, organizations, and individuals who have been donating to the community from day one till date.
So lots of companies and individuals have supported us in cash, in kind and stuff. I can't do without mentioning the Red Cross Society and International Organization for Migration, World Food Program, UNICEF, the various embassies in the country, Chamber of Mines especially. They were able to mobilize all the mining companies to come in to support the people in all forms. We remain most grateful to all of them, and various people from various walks of life who came to support the people. They are the reason why still the people are up. Otherwise, it would have been a different story. So we remain grateful. But as it is 1 year, we'll continue to ask for support, because we still have people who are going in and out of hospitals.
Things were coming across the nation, even outside Red Cross, IOM, UNICEF, World Food Organization, IMF, Minerals Investment Fund, churches, and the president himself, the nation, has really shown love to these Apiety people. And with that, it has helped us, because whatever they need in terms of the pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, to the old age, we've been able to meet not all of their needs, but we've been able to meet most of their needs to make sure they get back to their normal life. I can say that with the help of IOM and the Red Cross Ghana, now people who are serious to start life have begun something which is helping them.
1 year on after the explosion happened, people have to live their lives again, but it has been quite difficult for them. Members are appreciative of the donations and things they have received for organizations, individuals and companies, and they are very much appreciative of that. However, they They are pleading for more support for them as they have to start their life from ground zero up to a different level. In the Apiety community, that is the relief community, that is what we are seeing behind me. As we speak to people on GhanaWeb TV, they are of the view that if people come to their age, their life will come back to normalcy. From the Apiety relief camp, this is Thomas Tete reporting for GhanaWeb TV.
Now, oh, me.
Obek Kanokre. Susu sang pine, Pia want to Nambia, a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you basically see about Kotoso. Pepoga, send me Sika from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shit and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Extinguishing in so ye unbeatable. We should be promo code Dr. Like Nanya £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. What is send this guy Akofino? Download to Lemonade Finance.
Hundreds of people lost their jobs between 2017 and 2020 due to the banking sector cleanup. Today on GhanaWeb Special, we'll be speaking to one of the affected persons on how she's been coping since she lost her job. I am Nima to Yakubu Atoyese. We'll be right back with our guest. Welcome back from that short break. I have with me Jemima Mensah. Jemima Mensah, thanks for coming. And
thank you.
How have you been coping since you lost your job in 2017?
Thank you very much. My warm greetings to your watching viewers, your listeners, and everybody. I want to say a big thank you to you for this great opportunity. It hasn't been easy, my dear. It hasn't been easy. For the past 4 years, I've been home without a job, and the challenges are way more than words could explain for me, because for working for 13 years in the banking sector, and all of a sudden you come home with nothing, with kids, and life must go on. How do I pick the pieces? It hasn't been easy, but the challenges are so much that I don't know where to start and where to end.
Let me help you out. So, when did you lose your job? Was it after the cleanup? Did they give you a part-time job for you to work and later say, oh, you should move? How did it start?
Okay, so the whole thing started 2017, 14th August, when our license, I used to work for Capital Bank, so our licenses were revoked. And from then, we were working for GCB as they have taken over our company, so we were working for them. We worked for them for almost 8 months, if I'm not exaggerating, from 2017, August 14 to when they gave us appointment letter on February 4th, 2018. So we worked for them, and then along the line we were employed to GCB 2018. I was transferred to KN Circle GCB. So I worked with them for roughly 9 months. After that, I was never confirmed. So it means after 6 months, my confirmation was extended to another 3 months. And then nothing happened. I went to work one day and I was told to go home with a letter that they don't need my services anymore.
What was their reason?
There was no reason. On the termination letter, there wasn't any reason that we've done this, or they just that our services are no longer needed. But from the background, what I heard was that if you don't have SS, 3 credits, as in English, Maths and Science, you are out. And some of us, we don't even have the SS. We did matured entrance, so we went first because it's like that is their policy. If you don't have it, even if you are a graduate, a master's degree or whatever, and you don't have the English, Science, and Maths, the 3 credits, as in C, and you have 1 D, you are out. It doesn't matter how your higher level of education is.
But what was your role at the bank precisely?
I was a teller.
Okay.
I was a teller. So I went home. By then I was in school. I was in school, Pentecost University. I was in my 2nd year. So the news was, I can remember that day as if it was today, how I felt. Because how do I feed my kids, the family? How am I going to break the news to my family and all that? But we came home, we fought to get a better job or something, but nothing good was coming up.
So you applied at various. Did you also try banking sector?
Banking sector. Actually, I was so desperate that any job would do, provided I'll get something to take care of my family.
When the opportunity didn't come, what else did you try aside the banking sector?
Okay, so I tried cooking. I registered my catering company, and with the help of friends and families, I have a strong support team. Thank you guys. I know I can't mention the names. I know you are all watching, and I'm so grateful for your support and everything. It took me 2 years to build that catering services and registered the company. I wasn't working, so you asked how do I pay my fees and how do I finance the catering services. Today my husband will know what I was doing when he goes to work, because I felt that if I tell him that I'm going to clean somebody's house to support the house, he wouldn't encourage me to do that.
So whilst you were in school and you wanted to try the business, food business or the catering service, you started doing domestic work for others?
Yes, because the catering services needs time. It took me 2 years to do that. So where will I get the funding to build that my business? So I have to go from house to house. When my husband goes to work, I scarf my hair and then walk around. Do you want to wash? Do you want to clean your house? Then I go to my area where we have corporate ladies or corporate people that are very busy. Then I'll go to their houses and ask, and I'll do the laundry. Sometimes 100 cedis, sometimes 150. Sometimes you get 50 cedis for the cleaning and all that. So I did it for a while without my husband knowing, because I'll take my kids to school and then I'll come and do it.
And he has left
He has left. So in the evening, by the time you come,
you are done.
I'm home. Everything is okay. Because
how much does he earn for him to give enough?
Family.
There are other responsibilities, kids' fees, rent, and chop money. So, I mean, you can't sit down and fold your arms and say that you are just sitting there doing nothing.
Until today, he never knew you went out to do? Wow.
He never knew.
So what happens after, when you started the catering services? I remember you said you had to close it down due to a difficult challenge you faced. Can you share that with us?
Yes, please. I started, and as a new beginner, you know you have challenges, but it was picking up. It was picking up, and then I met this elderly woman who came as a mother. She appeared to be like a sweet woman who always supports me. So in terms of prayers, in terms of encouragement and advice. So one day she came and she was like, oh, can you guarantee a loan for me? And I didn't think twice. I didn't look back because...
How much was the loan?
15,000.
Okay. But did you know her family? You just knew her because she assisted you?
Yes, she lived close to where I have my business. Okay. So she normally comes, buy some of the food, help me in my chores and all that, because I didn't have money to employ somebody to help me. Yeah. So I was doing everything myself. So I did it. I guaranteed the loan
of 15,000 for her.
So after that, when the first payment, as in reinstallment, came, she was nowhere to be found. And this woman is gone.
When you say she's gone, as in
we can't find her.
After you guaranteed the loan for her?
Yes, we can't find her.
So how did you know she's gone? Did the bank call you?
Yes, the bank called me, and I was like, oh, you haven't, she haven't brought the money, she haven't paid. I was like, oh, I spoke to her yesterday, she will pay. They said time is up, so we are calling you. I went to her house and I was told she's traveled. And I was like, why wouldn't you leave the money if you are traveling? Yeah. You know you are supposed to pay a loan, so her phone is off. And up till now, I don't know where she is.
So it means you are paying the loan?
I'm paying. I've paid, and the challenges were way too much. How do I pay? How do I pay 850 every month?
When you don't even have a job?
I don't even have a job. And what I've started is like, it can't fetch me that much a month. So do I use the chop money my husband gives me to pay the loan?
Or you forfeit your catering?
So I don't know what to do. I was so worried and disturbed, confused. So the only option that came was for me to sell the container.
There's business you established, you had to sell
everything and then pay at least some of the loan, and then I'll be relaxed to see what I can do to finish the other one.
Have you heard from her?
No, please.
You've never heard from her?
I've never heard. I've never heard.
And that was when?
That was it last 2 years or last year, July?
Oh.
It's been a year and some months.
Are you done paying the loan?
No, I'll be done by December.
From that, it means that you started a business, and just when the business was building up, you had to stop it because somebody had taken your loan, and you guaranteed and has failed to pay.
Yes,
so you had to give up your business.
Yes, please.
After that, what happened next to you?
So after that, by then I was still in school. So those that's domestic jobs and other things, I was still doing it because then I've come to nothing. And thanks to my colleagues, my family, I was able to graduate with 2nd class.
Welcome from that break, and this is GhanaWeb Special. We've been speaking to Jemima Mensah, who has been sharing her life experience after losing her job due to the banking cleanup exercise. So she's now an Uber driver, and we want to ask her how it all began. Jemima, how did it start for you becoming an Uber driver? Was it a difficult decision for you to take, and how have you been coping in the mail world?
Thank you. Actually, taking the decision was not too difficult because, you see, the motivation here is that I have to feed my family, especially my kids, and at least provide for my dad too. So when you look around, based on that, that was the strength. That was what encouraged me to do that. When I took the decision 2 months ago, the main focus was to to meet the daily economic needs. And then maybe, perhaps, God will permit my helper to sit in my car one day and get me the job that I've been looking for. But when I'm at home, who will notice me? Nobody. So these are the two main reasons why it wasn't so difficult to take that decision to drive to be an online driver or Uber driver. I started 2 months ago. I used to drive Hyundai Accent 2012 model, but the fuel consumption was too much. So I tried it for a month and I realized that, okay, it won't work. So I traded that one off and bought this smaller car. It's not bad. It's not bad because at least by close of day, you get something small to buy food for your family, which when you are home, nobody will give it to you. The challenge...
I want to ask, before we get to how you've been coping with the male-dominated field where they drive Uber, did you suffer any emotional breakdown? Did you go through depression at these trying moments before you took this decision?
So many times, countless times. Imagine you have nothing to eat and you are owing. What you are owing is not what you have spent, but you let somebody
loan.
So countless times that I've thought of committing suicide. But I wanted to kill myself and my kids because I couldn't think about the fact that I will leave my kids for them to suffer.
They will suffer. They have their dad. You didn't trust their father enough to take care of them. And why would you think about suicide?
A mother's love, and the child will come, Mom, I want this, and whatever he needs, you go the extra mile to get it. I'm not saying their father won't do that, but a mother's love is stronger than...
What was your strength that prevented you from doing this?
My kids. My kids.
You didn't want to die or just
I actually didn't want to leave them. Because if I commit suicide and I kill them, okay, maybe they are going to be big people, important people. I don't know their destiny. So then if you want to hurt yourself, why do you want to involve them? And I don't want to also hurt myself and leave them to see them suffer. So that was it. That was it. Thank God I didn't do it. Here I am now on this big platform because I took the initiative to drive boats or online driving. If I had not, nobody would notice me.
By your married life, I'm talking about this because of the issue of depression. How was your marriage? Did this affect your marriage in any way?
Oh, yes. You know, love doesn't go without money. So if the issue is if one person is the only source of income support, definitely the person might not say it because he knows the situation, but you could sense it. A little bit tension and here and there. So it affected every aspect of my life, every aspect. My marital, my family life, my social life, as in friends. Because the moment you pick a call, hey, obesreska, obebusame, and it's better to ask than to die. So there are times that you can't help it, you see. So it affected all aspects of life. But I realized that the only way to change that situation is to do something. Yes. And that something was, I don't have money. I have my car, I can drive. So why not try it? But my slogan that I formed for myself before I started this was, it's better to die a hero than to die a failure. This is very risky. People are being beaten, their cars are being snatched away. But if you go and nothing happens to you, you come home with food. So that was what motivated me. It's also part of the reasons why.
So far, how is it doing? I know you have major challenge with your Uber business, but how is it? How are you coping with it so far?
It's not bad. As I said, it's better than nothing. Okay, the prices and fuel and other things are not meeting the real time life reality, but it's better than none. This is a great opportunity to. I met you because you requested a boat, and wow, you were impressed. There have been a couple of riders who have been enthused and happy about me being a boat driver. And sometimes I get monies that I don't deserve because I'm happy, encouragement, words of encouragement. And it's exciting. It's exciting. It's better. It has encouraged me, because at a point you'll be in the house crying, and there's nothing coming up. But now when I go out, I meet a lot of people, 90% good ones. I have experienced one bad person, but hey,
it's part of life.
It's part of life. So I'm happy. I'm happy for now.
So Jemima is a boat rider and not an Uber driver. I'm making that correction. And she says what inspired her is that it is better to die a hero than to die empty. A failure. And that has been her motivation. Before we sign up, we want to let her share her worst experience as a boat rider. Can you share that with us? Because it looks like in every good thing there is one bad incident.
Yeah, yes. I remember one early morning, I had a request, and I went. A well-dressed gentleman came and boarded the ride. I took him to his first destination, and then he said, "Oh, wait for me. I will do some few rounds with you." For 4 hours, we moved around town, and then we went to a bank. I don't want to mention the bank's name, but we went to a bank. Said, "Oh, let me withdraw some money and pay you," and that was it.
He never returned.
He never returned. He took the money away, and from 8 a.m. to 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I wasted fuel, I wasted time, and the guy was gone.
Oh, that is a very sad note.
But
it didn't discourage you? Did it discourage you?
I was broken. I was seriously broken, and then I called my husband. And was like, you don't do your short trips. You are behaving as if you are a man. This job is risky. What if he has done something wrong to you? Yeah. So it's also another experience that showed me that, okay, so if we go,
these are some of the challenges.
We will give you money. If you are spending 4 hours, you give me the money, and then we will go. Yes. So
it's been a sad event. I've been speaking to Jemima Mensah, a boat driver with a human resource degree who wants to join the corporate world again. I hope someone watching this is willing to help her fulfill this dream. Contact us at GhanaWeb and we'll link you to her. I am Nimatu Yakubu Atoyese, and thanks for watching.
ana o mi
Obek kanokre. Susu san kwan bia wanto nam bia e man kwan bebre.
Mommy, you face can see about Kotoso. Pepoga, send me sika from Lemonade Finance. Wa Brian to the shade and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Extinguishing in so unbeatable. We should be promo code Dr. Like £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. With this Sunday cigar coffee, download to Lemonade Finance.
Etosubim yewura alanchremantintin ye waha na empaibo no doso na media meyi de wom senim kura me media ahyem. Hallelujah. Sa onyame ebebo no ho ban amana ho den no atimi agina ewo preti seyemu akonde bia ebesori atia no de free ewiem asase ase emipom enya de ebetumi enya no sanse eyokon ena okro no okon no soso emakoma so ade se bibia ntimi mmone ntofom na wobegina ne naso na sanso ne besi na de atene se minim se minuanom me papa no masofo akasa but me gitum pa sense me firi manum ba no amanfo bebre aye sensitive peso mutie. Hallelujah. Because papa se hefa no ojina bonkum ana ojina nifa ojina hen de atene se yefre bibi kasabebuo se eja bi wo fie na owo ma te se mimi se mi wo ma na oba obeben me metimani no jina me nchen mi hia bibia me pagya meni a on na me hu no sukom de me a me hu so na kosansuo no breme ekom de me a on na breme duane mani kuma on na deda me patade ahya on na breme atade hye se de tibia me mane doso ba me dosa oba no ache wo mo maka ni nyina enunti na mpanifo e de aya kasabebuo se akokọ ba a oben nini ena odi abebesere onyame tesoro wo ye nyina ye nyankopon ye nyina ye gya no nanso so nia yewura kwajo alanchramantin aye no megitum se wawi ni nyankopon heart sanse okona okono hallelujah amen good okona ya papai akoi yenyanwe okono eso de ho aseda abrawrade awie se asofo ahia mu wa ha aye onyame na musifo kan hunu se nyame hwe asofo so ehira adasa sanse ye ne wiase ene osoro ntem ginafo na sa Thanksgiving service ya ekoso yi na mfiru se ankankunimdi achi ena ankasedaba ba wedie nkunimdie ni nyama yempo no aseda na dikan aba na kyerɛ sɛ prophetically spiritually bibi asi wo sunsun e be pia ohonam. Hallelujah. Enunti empire me pese nyina yesori gina na so besema ne ebo edema orura kwadwo alanchramanten eyo nyame protection akuntie bie be free baby biara yesane onyame gya ede akata no so one ne ho kani ene n'adwuma yefo omo mbesia na ntwie omo betu agbalagba ne nsuman enya de a ebenya chefa wona brabom enti ye release onyankopon angels to Saint Michael, Gabriel and Raphael se omuntwa no hunhia ye de ogya fadum ne mununkum fadum e kata ne so because so nyame ban boto no so a no otimi gina ne na so a said ye mehu se ban bo ato no so na obegina ne na so no said ye tibiara osoro ebe sane ama no ya mompa se rade e ma ne ban bo nya kese wo ye papa so ne ho kani ene n'adwuma yefo onyame ban bo nya kese e wo papa so protection sanse binum de omo kamfo aponko ne ntiase enam ebinum penuro tunuro dware nuro enum nuro but akodi bi e besore tie papa yi enyina anu bi e besore tie papa yi enyina na emom onyankopon ene papa be nante kosisa ne nkunimdie ebe pie ti se awia e wo Yesu din mu amen na mishra mu nyina.
So please before you leave here, you are going to take the energy of God outside. You need to, all the blessings of God, all the promises of God, there is fight around it. You have to fight to get it, and you have to fight to keep it. Amen. So I thank God that you are one of the mighty men of Honorable Alan. Are you sure? What are the mighty men? What are the mighty men? And where are the honorable men? Can you jump on your feet and give the Lord a shout? You can do better. I say, give Jesus a shout. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, we are the mighty men. We are the strong men. What are the strong women? The strong women. Where are the strong women? Hallelujah, somebody. Number 2, we are asking for good health for Honorable, because a healthy man is a wealthy man. So we pray that God will preserve him, God will sustain him. God has already blessed him, but we continue to pray for him. So ladies and gentlemen, let's stand on our feet. Let's stand on our feet. Let's lift up our hands. And sono ye seo. Everybody sing it. And sono ye seo. Oh bibiara niwe radin to me ye. Enyumre yo and sono ye. Mesi bibiara niwa onyame tuminye. Mea minya peni nana akufu ado ebie nano ekase. Yese alambe mano kwa amanako no kwa no nwoba. Na dede no utie mi anka beboa wo. Utie mi anka beboa wo. Yefa omampeni a osi adwaso sesia na numu asem se Ewurade. Fa se numu asem sesia no MPP as long as on the president no di ku no so. It's in Ewurade fa na numu asem no okaya ma yete ya no. Delegates no air kono often shown wakomo. delegate no aircon no ye catch them everybody say otimi ade ni na ayo otwa no hu yaso watwa ma ala asa dia be na everybody ntimi ye me honam ni na nyankopon bibia everybody yonana. I am the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me to do? Papa, akoma ben ready. I check the history of Nigerians, and the Nigeria for Eura who say onto Ababone. Because when a Christian lead you, it is better. It is better. Me pen meet makasa acheo. It is better. It's a sentence original naso. Mausa so kostro. Sa odo ala na nya kasa keke. Mausa so. Every life be mausa. Sa odo ala mpa dia mausa so. Honorable ala sa odo repa mausa so. Na yensa ye kan na ne say like Joshua said, we have no hands, we have no strength, we have no connections. But we raise our hand to you, you who sits in secret. On that faithful day, our contentious echoes, be the voice of Allah, be the extension of your hand for Allah. Everybody found so nipa biara okomo onipa bieni ho awuntin found sankano. You are God of your own. Nobody advises you, but this is our request. On my Ghana, we can't go backward. From second delegate, you know, I will be vote you on that day. The flag bearer for MPP. Let it not be any other name than the only one name we want to hear, the Honorable Alan Chamanti. What if I said to also? So ultimately, a Babylonian king. Now ultimately, at the was some Shenakuma, we say, the God of heaven has given me a work to do, to build the walls of Jerusalem and to help all those Jews to return. So ultimately, you are ready. And left from here, this is the center of the nation. From Saka yet to come, the delegates, convince them by your supernatural power. Bring unto them, cause them, oh God, to vote for your servant Alan Chamanti. And above all, already money favor, money favor, money favor, favor. Even those who are going to do for him cannot understand why they are doing it, but they have to do it. Lord, do it for him, and do it for us, and do it for Mother Ghana. Near the Emma Wagan in Ashawisa. The Snawa Suje Emma Wagana. A man penny for any Yamanum, any Yenianuma, Fansato also. Ma and you yam any dear and your Emano dear. Page our money free. Nipa Hunu Sem. Page our money free. Nipa MP Yensem. Now for a minor a share. Yura Alan Chamantinsa. Now, one amne so ama wani onyama opese dead or emano sono ewie peyo. We na yebisa wo nam oba Yesu Kristo odon yen je ya ho pene be wanu guasema yen sori wani onyama yen sama yen wo Yesu dimo. Amen.